It's only the hoofs that she can. No, you're stronger. You both are stronger women.
But yeah, her skill with knives is incredible. I was just like a beautiful, she really can wield a knife to do whatever she wants.
Yes, and with this loop knife, I cannot even touch the hoofs. I don't have the
But you have a
strength
prox.
to. Yes, yes. Now I have a proxon.
She's got a new toy. She's good.
Janet brought me a proxon as a gift. I
Oh,
must
that's
tell
awesome.
you all.
That's
Yes.
awesome.
Yes,
It
she
took
brought me a proxon, and I
Wow.
was very, very happy, and I want to thank her in public.
ah, it
That's
took me
really
three tries. Wait,
fantastic.
3 tries through security before I got all the parts on the airplane.
Oh, no kidding?
Security. Oh my lord. My husband had to sit in the airport and wait for me. The first time through, they kicked me out because of the battery. They were wrong. Went back up. The people at check-in said no, they were wrong. Took me back down. Then they let the battery through, but then they said the Proxon tool, the actual tool, because it was the battery one, the actual tool is longer than 7 inches. And because it's a tool, it had to go in the luggage. So
Oh,
now I got to
gee.
go back up to check in again, check my bag with the damn tool in it. The battery's in my pocket. Go back through security again. And thank God they let me through that time.
Good grief.
Oh, it was a zoo. I kept telling my husband, going back to check in, going back to check in.
Well, that's so awesome you did that.
Yeah, I found
That's
a
just
loophole
wonderful.
in the what is it, TSA and airline. I found a loophole in their rules. They don't know how to handle a battery operated tool. So it was a big loophole and nobody knew what to do about it.
They're going to
That's too
figure it out.
funny. Oh,
It was
It
an
was a hoot.
adventure trip.
that's too much.
I was so mad. I thought this damn thing's going one way or another. I was so pissed off. I was just like, really, you know,
Oh boy.
but it made it.
That's
And all the
amazing.
pieces too. I was afraid it would get stolen. Parts of it would get stolen in the luggage
Yeah.
because they
So
were
yeah,
like, it may get stolen. And I'm like, oh, good. Things to worry about.
so you had to unassemble it and reassemble it when you got there?
Well, I just took the battery off from the
Oh,
main
okay.
body and I took all of the head off and all of anything that looked sharp, I took off.
Yeah.
So, but see, the rules say that if you take a battery on the airplane, it has to be attached to the item that it powers and it has to be in your carry-on. Well, the
Okay.
problem was that the thing it was attached to was a tool, and any
Yeah.
tool over 7 inches long has to be in the belly of the plane, not in your carry-on.
Well, then maybe
So
you should
so
have just
what
gone
finally
in the
happened?
baggage too, huh?
So the battery, because it was a battery, had to go in with me, but the tool, because it was a tool, had to go in the belly of the plane. So they had to be separated. But the rules say that they have to go together. But then yeah, no, it
Yeah.
was a nightmare.
That's just crazy.
It was a
They
loophole. Oh, they're used to electric shavers,
Yeah.
computers, that kind of stuff. They had never seen, apparently, a powered tool.
But
Oh, that's
thank God we
great.
overpassed all the difficulties. And then, and then happened this thing. Janet's husband was asking to go to see the Zakynthos Island. And I was so happy because in Zakynthos we met Agnes.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And it
so I
was
saw.
pure luck that we were all together there.
Uh-huh. That's awesome.
And
Well, I
then they
really
made me
enjoy.
work. Wait. They made me work. I'm on vacation.
Uh-huh.
No. I
What'd
was
they
in
make you do?
trim.
Did you trim? That's
Yeah.
awesome.
No, I was on vacation.
Oh
She
my.
was asking for it. Don't believe her. And if we had more time, she was about to trim every horse she saw.
That's awesome. Now, how many horses does Agnes have?
Now she had 4.
Okay, well, that's good number to keep up with,
Yeah.
and she does all of them. Now, did you teach her to trim?
Yes, she does.
Okay,
She trims everything by herself.
that's great. Now,
Explain to her how long it took Agnes to understand what you were saying, telling her about tact.
Well, 15
How long
years
it
I
took
was
for Agnes. Go ahead.
15 years I was praying her, please let me explain you what tact is. And she said, no, no, my horses go well. They don't have any problems. And then I imposed her. I said, no, now I'll take the mare and I will show you what to do. And
Uh-huh.
after a year, do you remember she had posted photos in the
Yeah.
after? And she said, yeah. And she said, Angeliki, we were right. I said, 15 years, 15 years, I'm begging you to understand what we are doing. And said, but I don't have any problem with my horse. She goes everywhere, no problem, because, well, the fact is that she never had a barefoot trim on her horse.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And she had heels by herself. I mean,
Well,
she
good.
didn't trim the heels out of the horse
Yeah.
entirely.
That's a good.
Yes, but when she saw after, I don't know, about 7 months, she saw the difference. She said, oh, what are you talking about? I didn't realize the changes are so, so big.
Isn't that wonderful that you just
Yeah, yeah,
kept after her for so long,
yeah.
and she finally saw it. That's awesome.
But the good thing is that I always talked about tact. And she was listening because she had to listen to me, but she never tried or she never wanted to apply.
Uh-huh.
And after 15 years, yes, about 15 years it was, she said, okay, let's try my mare. And when in a time of I don't know 5 6 months she saw the difference, said, oh God, that's different now.
See, that's great. Now, what's this foot that we're looking at here?
This one is not my horse, is another horse. The horse is trying to get some heels on.
Hmm.
It's not bad, isn't it?
Not bad. She's got nice cartilages.
Yes.
Yeah.
This horse, he's a male.
Okay.
He's getting somewhere with his cartilages.
Who's trimming him? Are you trimming him or an owner?
Yes, I trimmed that horse about 3 or 4 times, and then they stopped. No,
Oh,
the previous photo. This is
this is
Agnes'
one that
photo,
okay.
not
This
this
is one of
one.
Ag not-
This one is my filly.
right here.
Yes.
Okay. And who's this here?
No, this is not mine.
It isn't.
This is not my photo.
Oh, really? Because it's on yours.
Let me see. These are photos. Yes, this is not my horse. This is photos of a Greek horse.
Okay.
You see how his heels are very, very.
Yeah. Boy, his little poor old toe just shot way out there, didn't it?
Mm,
So this
these are
is
random.
this is a yeah, this is a male. This is your mare here.
This is my mare,
Okay.
my filly.
Okay. And this is one that you did do, but then they took it back.
Yeah.
and started doing it with somebody else, a farrier.
Yes. Or the owner.
Yeah. And you can see how these tubules are run forward, making a crack right where Veller has a crack.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That one's, can't tell what that one is hardly, but well, that's awesome. And stuff
Well,
that the,
the ones I trim some more times became better. But once they see in this situation their hooves, they turn to farriers
yeah.
again.
Well, but see that crack was there before you started trimming. It was from
Mm,
before, you know, and stuff.
mm-hmm.
The because that it takes a long time for those to develop like that. But I thought it was interesting. It's right in the same place, and that's from lower in the heels. Was this horse low heeled when you started?
Yes, they are very, very bounded
Yeah.
and very short.
Yep.
But
So
I don't really have the chance to continue. That's the
yeah.
problem.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Stuff. Well, heck. Well, but you know what? Look at how you got through to Agnes, and you've also got through to many more people. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and just being able to like do your own horses and to know this stuff. Such a benefit for all of us together. The stuff that we've
Yes,
learned.
because we can see. That's why I've sent you these photos. They're old photos, and I've sent it to you because we
Yep.
can see how they. Because if you see the back of the foot, they start to grow, and they have the upper part of the hoof changed.
Hmm. Yeah.
Well, we can what we can do. We do
Yeah.
what we can.
Yeah. Exactly. And some people just don't understand. Then they'll wind up going another
They,
direction, and
they
that's
don't
just the way
pay
it
any
is.
attention. That's the problem.
Yeah. Yep.
They
They
say yes,
don't.
yes, yes. I went to trim a mare some weeks ago, and the only thing that the owner told me, and he let me do only the front feet
Hmm.
because he had no time for the back feet anyway, the hind. And he told me, Angeliki, he was speeding up very easily, and he was galloping in another way.
Hmm.
And I said, yes, but we have to continue this. He said, no, no, that's okay now. That's okay now. She's okay, mare. What can I do?
Yeah. Yeah. You never know what gets in people's heads. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And stuff, or why they do what they do. Maybe it's just the fact you're a woman. Who knows? Even that stuff with these men and stuff. You just never know. So
And as soon as they realize that the horse is stepping better, they think that's it, we've done it.
yeah,
They
all
don't
done.
know that you have to spend a lot of time on it.
Yeah, consistency and knowing what you're doing and where
Yeah.
the foot is and where it's supposed to go and all that stuff.
Oh, there is another fire in Greece, in
Uh-oh.
central Greece.
Is it a like a fire in the country?
We are half Greece is burned down
Oh, that's terrible.
because it
Yeah,
was
because
very
it's so
dry. The weather
dry.
was very dry. All mountains are dry, and now it's very easy to get on fire.
Yeah, that's terrible. I in fact I did hear something about that anyway,
Yeah.
you know, that they were having some terrible fires over there.
Uh,
Well, so okay, well, thank you for sharing that stuff and thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here today. And Okay, well, we'll see you next week. No. Uh, gosh, I'm a little tired today. Um, so, uh, does anybody have a horse they want to evaluate, look at? I could ask Tiffany, how is your horse doing?
Here, I was struggling with myself. He is significantly better.
Okay, great.
Asking.
Great. Well, maybe we could discuss what happened with him.
Yeah, I think it would be good because
Yeah.
I think I understand some of my mistakes and maybe
Okay.
something we can benefit and avoid.
Okay. Well, let
How
me
about
draw up
that?
his pictures and I'm going to let you tell the story. Okay.
Sure.
And then we're going to explain to him about quote unquote retracted soul.
Yeah, let's.
Okay. Let's see here.
I have some videos of him moving. Does that help anybody, or you just want to
Oh,
see?
sure. Sure. That'd be great. We'll tell the story first and then we'll go through all that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see here. I'll just got to figure out where I'm at. Okay. I'm going to have to open up. Let's see.
Shall I talk while you look?
Yes. Go right ahead, please.
So Joaquin is my gelding. He's 4.5 this year, and he was doing quite well until February when I wasn't able to trim. So I had someone else come and trim, and I thought she was going to follow my directions, which meant leave his heels. And when I turned my back to go get a knife, she locked off his heels. So we had to kind of start all over again. So I have a picture of before his heels were lopped off, and then I noticed the other day I was focusing what I thought what I was doing a tack trim by letting the hind of the hoof, the heel of the hoof, expand and be mindful of the bars, but I neglected to be mindful of the toe, and I wasn't measuring correctly. So his heel got away from under him. And I, in a panic, looked at my pictures one day and saw the regression happening and reached out to Linda in a panic. And I think it was Friday night, she guided me on how to stand a foot up, which there are videos, but it never made sense to me. Physics is not my strong point, and certainly neither is a proxon. But I was in over my skis, and she gently guided me on how to stand up Joaquin's hooves, and there was a significant change in a good way, and I knew it was a good shift. However, he was really, 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 really uncomfortable. Like he didn't know where he ended or started anymore. And so that's when I gave him some Equiax and we got through the hump. He now can walk, trot, canter. He's not in work, he's still a baby, but he can go he's in the pasture running and I think
That's
that's
good.
okay.
Yeah. And so, okay, so Tiffany messaged me and she said, Linda, if you have a moment, will you help me off this ledge? I have run Jacqueline. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Joaquin.
Joaquin. Okay. I like in Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
Okay. Joaquin's heels underneath him. So run forward heels. So so let's look at these here. So, I studied them and I gotta tell you, it's not always easy to tell what people what to do, especially people like Tiffany, because she is very sensitive, which we all should be. I'm not saying don't be sensitive, but I know that if she does anything to cause any discomfort to this horse at all, it's going to really, really, really affect her because she's a very sensitive person and very loving to this horse. And of course, we do not want to do, and we don't believe that making horses sore is necessary. Now, uh, there's a whole bunch of people that do on the other side. Okay, I don't know if you've seen that group, primarily hooves. All right, they say they follow Dr. Boker, but it's it's not good at all because they're promoting that your horse being sore is a good thing, a normal and good. He's sore because you're building up his digital cushion, and man, they are stripping every ounce of heel and everything out of those horses' feet, and they are in a process of severe hoof binding. And yet they have been led to believe that this is good. You're building up muscle. You know, you're building up that digital cushion. Well, that is not true. And very sincere people, as most people are, and stuff like that, but misled by the powers that be. Um, okay, so I can see where, I'm really careful about telling people take down the toe or do anything like that because I know sometimes it can make them tender-footed. So we're going to look at that today and we're going to try and understand why that is, why they would be sore. Okay. And it has to do with the distortion, how the distortion pulls the door. So I could put a picture up here. Why didn't that come up? Hmm. Well, stupid thing. Just a minute. Am I going to get any? Okay. Now I forgot which it was the front feet, right? Or was it the back feet? Front feet.
It was all four.
All four. Okay. So did you wind up doing all four?
Yes. So in hindsight,
Okay.
that would be one thing I would I would
Not do again.
however, I didn't. Now I know.
Okay. Um, well, and I didn't think of telling you, I was thinking it was just like on the front feet or something. I don't know. But anyway, so I guess you did all 4 feet. So yeah, I could see. Okay, you know how when you trim your fingernails, I'm not saying it feels exactly like that because it's going to be a little more than that, but with how the walls are going to move. Um, but still, you know how just even when you trim your fingernails, how it feels different? So you can imagine a whole horse's foot. Um, so the thing about it is with Tiffany, it's not only and a lot of people, okay, they will unintentionally allow the toes to get high, and because the hoof wall grows down and forward, well, then the toes also get forward. So therefore, you're changing all the angles in the horn tubules, and the toe is lifting up, and it's changing the angle of the horn tubules to be lower, and so that they grow more forward than they should. And so then you kind of what happens is the toe will start growing out and away, and it'll take the sole with it, and it will grow out and away and start separating from the toe of the internal foot. There'll be some stretching in there, and you're not necessarily going to see it like a stretched white line or anything like that. If that horse has a real tight toe sole lamina wall connection, that toe could stretch way out there and still have a tight white line in the toe and yet be an inch. There could be an inch of separation that you don't see between the toe of the internal foot and the actual hoof capsule. So let's just kind of look at Tiffany's horse's feet here, as I did, trying to figure out how to help her, and trying to figure out how to help her uh, do something that will not make her horse sore. Okay. Because, as I said, I know Tiffany. I know how she feels about this horse, and I have a hard time telling anybody stuff sometimes, because I know there's that possibility. It's not easy giving people advice because you feel very responsible, and I don't want to do anything to make their horses uncomfortable either. But unfortunately, it's going to happen on occasion. But this I know that then once you go through a situation like this, if you then can maintain that toe so that it doesn't get high and forward, then every time you trim, your horse will not be sore. Okay, so.
Really want to acknowledge you being sensitive to my sensitivities because I
Mm-hmm.
thank you. I recognized that he was going to hurt, but I knew it was necessary. It wasn't vindictive. It was kind of like if you've ever had braces and you got your braces tightened at the orthodontist, it's uncomfortable, but you're shifting the teeth. And I thought, ooh, this is going to be uncomfortable, but we're going to get through this.
Yeah, okay.
Anybody listening, I want you to know that I did support him with Equiox and some good herbs like turmeric and
Yeah, and he was only really in discomfort for what? How long?
2.5 days.
Okay, see, that's not bad at all. You know,
I was in
when
a
you
pump pain,
if
but
yeah, but if you got horses that are sore after every trim, that is the wrong trim. You know, that's just you don't want that. Okay, so we're just gonna and you're gonna see how very little she actually did. See, but it rained for one thing, and because the toes were stretched forward, okay, when she relieved the wall and took the leverage off, the see when those walls stretch out like that and get pulled away from the toe of the inner foot, they're under constant pressure to return. Anytime there's any distortion in the foot, uh, the foot is pulling back on what's being pulled away. Okay, so so then when you remove that leverage, that wall is going to suck back. Okay, which is what happened, especially because it rained and the feet got very wet. So that makes them more pliable. Um, and this is how you wind up with what they call retained sole, which they think that because I guess they don't know the shape of the bottom of the foot or something, they think that the sole sucked up into the bottom of the foot. No, it was stretched forward. Well, here, I'll show you a picture here. Just a second. I'll give you an example. Okay, let's see. How do I want to do this? Okay, we'll do blue. Okay, so here's your wall. Say this is the wall in the toe. And then the sole in a normal wall that had a tight connection, let's say. Then you'd have your white line here. And then you would have your sole. We'll see if I can would go like this. Like that in the toe. Okay. Now, on the side of the foot, okay, I'm showing you what it's going to look like around the rim here, where your sole ridge is. Let me see. I'll make a frog so you know what we're looking at here. Okay, so this sole ridge right here, that's this right here. Just a minute here. Let me draw a foot. Okay, so So this represents your sole ridge, but of course, the whole thing, if if you slice the foot down the center like that, and you looked right here, you'd see this convex ridge of sole right here. Okay, but the sole, just the sole in general, is going to be like this. Like so. And then of course you got your heel buttress back here. Of course, like so. So when the wall, let's see here, if you don't know how to manage the dorsal wall, manage the toe and the toe quarters to keep it in the general area of being anatomically correct, what happens is, what happens is this wall here, okay, it grows longer, and if you don't know how to bring it down, okay, it's going to lift. You see, let's say my wall is this long now. Okay, now what's that going to do? It's going to lift the toe, right? Let's say I'm good at keeping the heels at a certain length, but I'm not very good at managing this toe and the sole and the toe. And so what happens then, when this foot, okay, if I could rotate it, I would, but this program doesn't rotate things. But if I could rotate it, then what's going to happen to these horn tubules that are like this? They're going to wind up sitting like this. See? And so what's that going to do to this toe right here? Okay, it winds up being like this up here. And just a minute, let me undo some of this stuff here. Just a second. Oh, oops, that isn't what I want to do. Okay, so then this dorsal wall winds up being out like this. And all these horn tubules going forward like this. Instead of, you have to have this kind of weight-bearing equilibrium, this passive, at these passive angles that are in alignment with the lamina of the internal foot. And so you wind up gradually with a toe, because you let it get longer, like so, it winds up pulling out away. See, it's right there, pulling out away from the foot. You see how it's pulled out away from the foot now? You got this distance in here. I'm going to do it in a different color since I got that blue there. Just a minute here. Here, we'll use light blue. Okay, so this wall, because you let it get long this way, just a little bit at a time, little bit at a time, little bit at a time. It's going to change the angles of all those horn tubules. And then the heels, even if they aren't run forward, they're going to look run forward because you change the angles and you set them at a lower, you set the whole thing at a lower angle. Now, do you understand the structure of this? See, if I had to, I could do this. Just a minute here. Let me take a picture.
And of course, Linda, this changes the position of the coffin bone.
Yeah, that too. Exactly. And so,
It
you're
the
gonna have to use your,
the
oh, go
the
ahead. I'm
center
sorry.
of the coffin bone,
Yep.
the front of the coffin bone, the toe of the coffin bone, just sinks.
Yeah. And it'd be like, here's your coffin bone in your toe, and then it's already supposed to be at an angle in the foot. See? Comes up at an angle like so. So it is at a positive angle in a foot that has a correct capsule and sets flat, but it is at a positive angle in the inside the foot itself. And so just a minute here. Okay, so let's do green instead. Just a minute. Okay, so you let this wall get long. Eventually, it winds up over here. You know, it winds up separating there, and the heel is going to be like this too, because you've changed the angle of everything by letting the toe get high. And it's gradually tipped the foot back and changed all the angle of the horn tubules. And then you'll wind up with a situation where these horn tubules here are going to be pushing forward and pushing the toe forward even more, because the wall will grow in and add to the capsule. See, this would wind up being up here, and it's really that length. You've added all that wall into the capsule. And so now the part I want to talk about is what happens to the sole when this happens. Okay, so here was your sole. Let me make sure I got it. Just a second here. Okay, here was your sole. Originally. Well, this is piece sole. Let me fill it in. Hold on. Oh, you stupid thing. Okay, so this is sole. I'm just going to fill in the piece in the toe right here. There's the sole you had when the wall was back here. See, the wall works as a retaining wall to keep this sole underneath the toe where it belongs. So we got to make it convex there with our little sole ridge nubbin. Okay, and then here's your white line right here, and your we'll make this the inner wall. That's where it was. See, you got your wall here, got your inner wall, white line, and then the sole. Well, now let me see, your wall has wound up from here out here. And if you had a tight white line, gradually what it did was it took this sole here and it stretched it with it. Let's see. Okay, we're going to put the white line here. It pulled, the white line stayed connected to the sole, and it pulled the sole all the way out here from underneath the foot. Let's get that kind of full there. Okay, so this is all supposed to be stretch sole.
Linda,
Yeah.
when the sole gets pulled forward like that, does the sole ridge get pulled thinner, or does that kind of go with the flow and there's just thin sole behind it?
I think both. You know, it'll probably kind of flatten out the sole ridge, and yeah, there'll be thin sole behind it. And
So
stuff
that
like here underneath the coffin bone, you know how you get your sole ridge right here, but then it goes concave towards the frog. But that won't fill in like it's supposed to and get firm. So it'll be soft and kind of mushy.
so then when you've got that stretched forward toe, you got to be pretty careful when you start scribing out the sole, because the sole ridge isn't going to be as thick as you expect it to be, right?
Well, yeah. Yeah. And so what'll happen is if then yeah, so it's going to be thin for one thing. See, that's the whole thing. Okay. And then telling you see this going on. And then you get this is my response when I was going through this with Tiffany. I see what's going on, but I'm really dreading telling her to do anything because I know I might make her horse sore because of this situation I'm going to show you, and so I just want her to do the bare minimum, and stuff because nobody likes to get blamed for that stuff, my friend. And so I know this is probably going to cause this very situation that I'm going to show you here. So, so yeah, the sole can be very thin in the toe right here and stretched forward. And so then when she comes in and she takes some of this down, like let me see how I do that. She takes some of the wall down so that the wall will come back. You take the leverage off of this wall, like do a bevel here and maybe take it down just to the sole, just a little bit past the sole. You'll see she didn't do very much, but she gave it all uh enough room that this wall, what'll happen is this wall will, oh, let's see, let's use another color. Let's use orange. Okay, so this is the wall here. Now look, there's sole right there, right? Okay. You give this room, and the sole is thinner probably than what it is here too. But you've given all this room around the whole toe, and there's pressure on it to suck back anyway. Just like, I'm pulling my fingernail off, it's gonna want to pull back, right? The nail bed's going, no. And so she relieves this wall and into a little bit of the sole here, and then it rains, and this wall sucks right back to there. Okay. Well, okay, what happened to the sole that was there? Where did it go? Well, it sucked back too. It was pushed and forced back. It was pushed and forced back right into, let's see, let's do a good color here. What color should we do? Let's do purple. We're going to use purple to represent this excess sole that was here. Okay, it's pushed back into a lump here. Where is it? That will look like this under there. This here gets pushed back into the sole that's already here, and it will make a ridge or a lump right there. And they call that retracted sole because they don't know what it is. They think that, okay, because they think that this sole just got sucked up into the foot somehow here. See, because now it's got this funky ridge here. But that ridge was this sole here that got pushed back when the whole wall came back. Am I making that understood? So what was cool about this situation was, now I know this is what's happening. All right, because I understand the mechanics of these parts and what happens. All right. But what we saw in this situation, we saw this happen in real time. See, I've never seen that happen in real time like that, but I know it. I know it's just physics. Now I know there's a word for it. Thank you, Tiffany. Okay. I'm like just mechanically minded. Okay. So it's just physics. And I got let's see here. I have, if I can find it, I have a hoof capsule where you can see sole doubled up like that. On a laminitic hoof capsule anyway. So, okay, so let's look at I'm going to take a picture of this. Just a minute here. Come on. And save you in Windows markups. let's see, pictures. JKL. L. Okay, save that.
Usually, in this kind of situation, when the soul make this bump, it's there is a separation of the white line too.
Yeah, there can be, but sometimes there isn't. It just pushes it because you got a tight white line, and then there's this thin piece of sole behind it, and where the real sole in the toe is, and so it'll just push that sole back into a bump. So there isn't always
In the
like,
best cases,
yeah. Okay, so
yes, in the best case, there
let's see.
isn't separation.
And that's what really confuses people. See, it's just like one of the when I started trimming, and then I started trimming for a few other people. I trimmed for this lady that had this Arabian mare, and that horse had toes as long as its normal foot, and a clean white line and sole the whole way. Okay. And so I didn't really understand it, but it didn't seem right to me. And that lady told me that her farrier told her, well, these kind of horses just have toes like that. No, it was a gradually stretched out sole and toe that was like you take this foot that we've been looking at. Okay, the toe was that long in front and all pristine white line, white, looked like healthy soul, you know. So let's see here. What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Oh, okay. Now I remember I was going to remove all these lines. Just a minute here. So we're going to see how it happened in real time. Uh, okay, just a second here. Okay. So, all right. So we talked about it, and uh I asked her to take the toes down, which she did. I got a picture of it here somewhere. Why am I missing it? I'm going the wrong way. Okay, this is after the fact. Wait a minute. Okay, let's go this way. Okay. Um, why am I not seeing the right pictures? If you see something I'm not seeing, Tiffany, okay. So which picture is this,
That's,
Tiffany?
that's 2 days after I did what we did.
Okay. So I want to find a picture of, is
It's in
this when you started?
That's not right. No. Go.
No, why am I missing it here?
I think
This
it's
the most recent?
correct.
Okay, let's go back. Okay. Okay, so I'm all right. I'm headed in the right direction.
You're in the correct direction. Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Nope. Okay, here's where I'm explaining it, maybe. Why
correct.
can I? Just a minute. Let me look at the regular Facebook post so I can figure where we're at here.
It's if that's the wrong direction.
Okay. Okay, because we were having a. Okay, so here we are, and you sent me the pictures. Okay, and somewhere. Okay, nope.
That's before his heel was. That's February. So we were heading
Yeah,
in this direction in February, and then
yeah. Okay, so here's what I first said. You need to just take off that much and stand them up. Right? Right
well,
there.
that was the February image. But so yes, the August, the 8/18 is what we
Okay. Where
dress.
is, why am I having such a hard time navigating photos? I have no idea. Okay, so uh let's see. Now I lost again. Just a minute. Let me,
Erase my
God.
name.
Huh? Nobody cares that much.
I do.
I'll try and get it off of there. Just a minute. Don't look. Let's see. Just a minute. No, well, now I can't even find you. Just a minute. I can't find anything. What the heck? I don't know what's going on. Anyway, okay, just a second. Oh, there. Okay, well,
I can resend it if it's helpful.
no, that's all right. I'm just trying to figure out how to show your pictures and not have Jackie show up. Oh, sorry. They don't know your last name.
It's okay, Linda. But hello.
We don't want any of those internet stalkers and tarps showing up, Jack.
No, we don't.
Oops. And then, of course, who do I wind up with? I wind up with you right on center stage here. Just a minute. Okay, I just lost Tiffany. Where are you, Tiffany? Just a minute.
I'm sending you a message. Should I pop it? Did it pop up?
Up.
No, I can't see your screen, but I sent you a message so that in
Oh,
case
okay. Well,
it would come to the top.
I'm like totally lost right now. You said, oh, there you go. Here I am. Okay. Because I have a, okay. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so I'm backing up. Okay, yeah, he was really plopping. Here. Okay, so you took a video of him walking. Just a minute here. You know, it takes a while to kind of reason this stuff out. You know what I mean?
To put a
Um,
warning that has video, audio on it. Sometimes I listen to noise.
okay. Let's see. All right, there we go. I'm finally getting it together here.
You don't like
Okay. Oh, we get music.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you can hear the music. Oh, I'm gonna turn the audio down. He's kind of plopping out there, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like, where'd my feet go? Huh? Poor baby. Poor guy. Okay, so let's look at his pictures here. Okay, so then I started to explain to her what it could be. Okay, so here's a picture of what I showed her, how the sole gets stretched out. When you take the leverage off that wall and stand them back up, well, you've had to thin the sole out a tad. Okay, because I didn't have her, she barely touched the sole, right? But your walls were a little high, weren't they?
Much so.
Okay, and especially on the sides, if I remember right.
Correct.
Okay. Why aren't I seeing those pictures? I have no idea. Because I looked at pictures of the soul.
Go past this artwork, and I think you'll get there.
Okay. Ah, yes, okay. Okay, so let's go back a ways. I had her measure the dorsal walls because you want to know how much you have to work with. See? So I had her measure the dorsal walls, and she had 3.5 inches. But you were misjudging it, weren't you?
I'm gonna argue only because of the I'm gonna say no because the protractor I accounted for it not being so flexible, but I know you wanted me to measure the hairline. It was 3.5 at the hairline.
Yeah. Okay. So that means you have almost a 1/2 of an inch to work with if you have a tight dorsal wall, which you didn't.
Yes.
Okay. So because like as Marilyn was saying, with the wall stretched out like that, Okay, here's another thing that I wasn't able to show in the drawing. Okay, so that dorsal wall, when it's back and it's tight and it's retaining that sole under where it's supposed to be, okay, that sole is going to be a certain thickness. But as the wall stretches forward and pulls the sole forward, it thins the sole out under the toe, and so it brings the toe down lower. So your toe is lower to the ground. Okay? And yeah, so then even taking a little bit down is going to have more of an effect because your dorsal wall is already stretched out forward, pulling the sole with it and thinning everything down in front of it and setting your foot lower to the ground. So now if you had 3.5 inches and a super, nice thick sole ridge and all that, then you'd have definitely 1/2 inch easy to work with. At least really taking off 1/4 of an inch around the toe is a lot. Okay. Um, so so that gives you a lot. I mean, that you know sets that horse up 1/4 of an inch. That changes all the angle of the horn tubules right there. So, okay, so we figure she's got 3.5 inches. So she's got a little room there. I'm figuring at first I thought a 1/4 of an inch. Then I thought, well, what I say? I don't remember how much I told you, but anyway, huh?
I think you thought it was 4 inches at first.
Oh, at first I thought it was 4 inches.
I think so.
Oh, that could be. But no, I mean, uh, in the end, what I told you to take off,
Okay. Sorry, I stand corrected. At the end,
not the whole foot. No.
I measured today, we are at 3.
Okay. So how much did you take off? Only like not even 1/4 of an inch, right?
Correct.
Just, well, it wound up being take it down to the white line and then take it a line past onto the sole, right?
Correct.
Okay. So let's look at that. Where are we here? Okay. So this is where she just took off some. Let's see. Let me make that bigger. This is a difficult learning to deal with the dorsal wall and take the toe down is a difficult thing for people. Um, and especially because the first time or two, it might make your horse tender, and then you're going to be freaked out and not wanting to do it. And so then your toe's just going to wind up sticking out there and getting worse. And what's bad is then your pillars grow forward and hold the toe out. See, and you wind up all this stuff, it turns into a vicious circle type of deal where you can't get any of these horn tubules in alignment. So I wanted to enlarge this so we could see kind of what you did here. So she just took off this much. That's not very much. That's not hardly anything. See, and I'm pretty sure she's got a stretch forward apex as well. I mean, eventually this whole frog's gonna move and do some things. But so she took that off, and then she took off a little bit more. Had you take off a little bit more, right?
Correct.
Okay,
And
because we got a clean white line and then just one line into the soil. And I explained to her how when you start to rasp into the sole ridge, the first time you hit the sole all the way around evenly, it might be the width of a pencil or a marker. And then once you do another rasp session over that, it widens as you go. As you get deeper, it gets wider till it gets about to, let's see here. Okay, so you could start rasping down and you're going to get wall, and then you're going to get to the white line first, which is supposed to be really yellow, and hopefully it'll be clean or whatever, maybe not. And then the next swipe you take, you're going to hit the sole, and it's going to be, you could take a rasp swipe, and you're going to hit the sole, and you might only hit that much. Okay, so that's not very deep. Right there, you've hit the sole. You take another rasp swipe, and it's going to be a little wider. See, a little bit wider, and you take another rasp swipe, and it's going to be even a little more wider. And as you're doing this, you're taking the foot down. You're taking it down, which also takes it back, because, when they talk about backing up the toe, going that way, okay, well, as you take it down, it is gently also backing it up. It's also backing up all these horn tubules all the way around. Well, she's just right here. Okay, so then about the most you can take these sole ridges down is about that much. That's about how wide they are. And then the foot gets concave. So you have the convex sole ridge to here, and then right here is when it gets concave. See? And so you don't know you have that sole ridge because the whole thing can look concave. The whole thing can look flat too. If you got a sole ridge here, but this is filled up with sole, but it's still, this part here is still concave, and this part here is still convex. It's just that it can take on a different look depending on how much sole is grown in. And you know, and like right now, you don't, when we undo this, okay, this all looks concave right here. It doesn't look like there's a sole ridge. It would look totally concave, but there is a convex sole ridge here, and then the convex sole ridge and the concave other side. Like the concave sole ridge goes like this, and then it goes like that into the well, I could make that bigger. So it's shaped like this. And here's your convex sole ridge here. See, I take a little bit off there. I'm going down further and see how it would get wider. Okay, and so this can fill up with sole, and it could all look level and flat, but you still have this going on underneath. Or the wall could get long and this could stretch with it, and it could all look concave, like so. They just had to make it complicated. Can't be just one way. Okay, so all right, so she took this down, and I thought she probably should take it down a little more where she was maybe hitting some sole. So let me go back. Now, it is in us going through these details on these things that we get to understand things more and more and learn how things work. You see how there's many details here in this one little thing? Drive you crazy details? Okay, I'm gonna go back to here. Okay, so okay, so somewhere along here, let me keep going. Okay, so she wound up taking it down some more. I'm not sure how much, and I'm not sure if you even sent me pictures of that. But as you can see, there's no lumps or bumps here or nothing like that. But the horse was not happy. He thought he was like, where'd my foot, where'd that feeling I had in the toe go? See? But not only that, um, Okay, so then
I have a video which is to the right of the picture that you're about to send. If anyone wants to see what that looks like, where
this
he,
one,
oh no, maybe to the next video. That's him walking. I have gravel. I have 89 gravel that he's choosing to walk on. If you move your mouse to the left,
to the left, over
yeah.
here, now how he's walking?
No, there's a video there. Nope, to the left there. Let's see. I think
Okay,
yeah, this is him trying to figure out where he starts. He
where
thinks
his toe is.
yeah, he
Where'd
thinks
my
he's
foot
pawing.
go?
He's not pawing. He's really confused. And again, in my defense, I didn't take a lot. I'm too conservative.
Yeah, you didn't take, I know you're super conservative, but you did stand him up. That little bit stood him up.
That's
You
right.
see that?
I just wanted the people who are watching this later to
Yeah,
That's funny.
it is, isn't it?
not
So,
really, Carolyn.
where's my foot?
Yeah, he was
Um,
confused.
he was confused, poor guy. Well, he's had them toes on there at that same deal for quite a while, and they get used to that. They get used to that feeling, but that doesn't mean that's good because it will be a continual source of hoof distortion.
Which is correct. And so, for any of the weirdos out there that talk to their horses like I do, I had said to him, "This is going to hurt, but this is for the right thing. And you make the right choice."
The right
Can I
choice.
can I ask? Hi, everybody. It's
Hi.
Elena. I just wanted to ask: was he lame or he was not sure? Because what it like. Could you see that it's painful for him, or he was just not sure about his feet, or it
It
was
was,
more proprioceptive issue? You think
it was both.
both? Uh huh.
Both. Yeah.
So it was hurting him.
Absolutely.
Okay.
On the first day, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being painful, he was an 8. On the second day, it was 7. On the third day, it was like a 2. Today is a 1.
Okay.
That's great. Okay, so we're going to look at the things that appeared in the foot. Okay? Okay, so she sent me pictures. Right here. Okay, you can see a lump. You can see a little bit of a lump here and also over here. Where where the sole has been pushed back. See? Let me see. Okay, this one's even better. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see that? How this area rose
Yes.
up there? So it wasn't real severe as far as because see when they talk about retracted sole in horses, they'll say the horses can be very, very lame. If we should go look at some retracted sole pictures, we're much more severe than this. Okay, I don't know if there's really anything in this one, but it's still and let me ask you this. His frogs are not higher than his sole or than the wall, are they?
No.
Okay. Okay. Okay,
At this
so here,
moment, I started to take the apex of the frogs back because I
uh-huh,
realized they were stretched too far forward now with this new
with
toe.
his new toe.
Um, Tiffany, can you send the picture that Linda was just on a little while ago of the 4 feet back
Of
to me?
sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyway, so he was tender and wondered where his feet went for a couple days, but is doing much better now. And he is his alignment is much better because if you keep allowing those toes to go forward and changing the angle of you cannot help but get what looks to be run forward heels. And the only way to unbind these feet, see, you the first and foremost, I think, in a person's mind, a person has to be able to look at these feet and see how they are structurally according to the the vertical horn tubules and the horizontal growth rings. And like let's see, I think I sent you a picture of that, or did I? No, that must have been somebody else. How let me see if I can find that picture. I posted a picture on the group of what it's supposed of the general, just a general, okay, idea to show. See, that hoof capsule has to fit in a passive way so that there's no pull and no torque going away from or onto the foot in any way. It has to be in alignment with that foot. Let me go get that picture. I'll be right back. Go to the group. And this would be a good exercise, is to take this diagram and to take your horse's foot. Here, in fact, we're just going to do that. So just hold on a second. I know I got it here somewhere. Oh, which I want to go through that foot I asked everybody to reply on too. Okay, so this foot here. Okay, this just gives you a general structure. It could be a little more or less here, there. Your horse's foot. It's not meant to be an exact pattern, but it gives you a general idea that you can put next to your horse's foot to decide where's your horse's foot at and what needs to happen to it. My computer's telling me low system resources may affect. Maybe I need to close some pictures. Just a minute. Let me see. Let me close a couple of pictures. Maybe that'll help. I'm going to have to close a few windows here and there. Just a second. Close you. Don't save. Okay, that's about all I can do. Okay, now I'll go back to that. Okay, so gosh dang it. Okay, there we go. So let's just take this. Let me make sure I'm sharing. Okay, so we're just going to take this like this. I'm going to take this picture. Okay, copy, take a screen share, copy, or copy into your folder, open Paint. Let's see, open Paint. And then I'm going to paste it. Paste. And I really like this deal they put in Paint where you can remove the background. Of course, didn't work very good on that one. Let me reduce the size of that. Let's do 70. Okay, so we're going to just put that there. Then I'm going to get a picture of Tiffany's foot. I'm going to put up next to it. If I can get a relatively decent side view. Let's see here. There we go. Look at that side view there. That's a good one. Okay, although you can't see the tubules, let me see if I can see one where I can see tubules better. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. That one's not too bad. We'll find one here. the better side view you can get, the better. See, I'm liking the view I'm seeing on those feet though. Another thing we did was take off that nub in there. Okay, here's a pretty good one, I think. Just a second here. Okay. Okay, I think I have one of that. Yeah, okay. So I already got one of that. So take that. Just a second. I'm getting a copy of that. Okay, so we're going to put this in here. And so,
I tried to do this also.
did you?
I did.
Okay.
It was a really good unit of measure.
Okay, so let's see. So you don't have to measure. What you're doing is, okay, so up here in paint, you've got one line that is squiggly like this. You just got to make sure that you click out of it before you try and do another line. Otherwise, it'll do this. I'll show you. It'll do this. Okay. Okay, you think you got your squiggly line and you're making it follow a deal, and you want to do another line. See, it'll move on you. So you got to make sure you got to go up and click back to the straight line and then back to the curve to do the curved lines. Otherwise, they do weird things and move all over the place. So I'm going to follow these horn tubules. I'm going to see, it's not just following the basic pattern of the horn tubules, it's also the length and the hairline. See, should be straight going all the way back. Shouldn't have any curve down here. And they should go gradually shorter till you get back to here. And they should be relatively at the same angle all the way. So if I was now, and the more better side profile you have, the better as well, because side profiles really make a difference. So much so here, I think I have a deal I can show you an example of. Um, dang, I think I got rid of that. Maybe I'll find it somewhere else. I had a really good example of how people can take, we'll look at that, take photos to make a foot look better than it really is. Okay. I was looking at this gal who they think she thinks her trimming is just a cat's meow, but she takes different angles. She take one picture, one angle of the foot before it was trimmed, and a whole different angle afterwards that makes it look better. You know, if you take a picture from the front here, you can make the heels look better than they really are. If you take a total side view, you can see more of the reality of what is really going on in the heels. That's why, as much as possible for our evaluation, we want to figure out how to take relatively the same angle. Even if we have a bunch of different angles, that's fine. But when we're comparing, we want as close to the same angle and height of the camera as we can get. Because we want to be able to evaluate it honestly. Okay, so we're just gonna map out. Let's do it in blue. Okay, so we're just gonna map out the basic shape of this foot here. Okay, so we're gonna go back to here, and of course, the first thing we see is that coronary band is not straight, is it? Okay,
No.
so what do we see here? we see that from here to here, these horn tubules are okay. There's two things that are going on here. You could have jamming, but chances are they're that way because look at the back of the foot. The back of the foot is pulled down, right? So what's that going to do? It's the back of the foot that is bending. Now there could be some excess growth in there too, helping it push up. Okay, because when it bends and it raises the hairline there, it is going to cause more wall to grow in down here naturally anyway and fill up the gap, so to speak. So that's the first thing. That's one of the things you can do. Always remember though, you're looking for what's going on in the back of the foot. You're looking at both horizontal growth rings, that's these here, and they're the width of the coronary band and coronary band groove, which is right behind here, and the periopal flap, or not flap, but band. So, okay, so where's the heel buttress back here? First of all, in this case, we're going to look at, well, I need to annotate here. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to see here right away is that this growth ring, or the coronary band, whatever you want to call it, the periopal band that's covering the coronary band groove of the hoof capsule where the coronary band is, we see already that it is like that. Okay, instead of straight, like this part here curves down. Well, when this curves down, what's going to happen? These horn tubules in the area of hoof wall right here are not going to, they're either not going to be the right length or they're going to be shoved under. And what you see here is that you can see where the heel is shoved under. See that? Right there. He's actually got some length of heel, but it's bent under. And you can see there's wanting to be a little crack right here too and stuff. So let's see. Okay, so that's going on. And then we see that up here, the horn tubule is that long. We're going to try and find our longest horn tubule, which would be right here. See how I'm following it? See the horn tubule there? The line? I'm going to follow that straight up. And I may come over here and find me another one. I can see one right here. Do you see this one right here? Okay, I'm going to find that. Oh, wait a minute. And try and follow it all the way down, which would probably be like that. So what area is that? Okay, well, that's right here, which it should be, they should be in alignment and shorter than the ones in the dorsal wall. See, here's the length of the dorsal wall. Okay, and so the length of this area right here, these two areas, that should be there, gradually shorter and in alignment instead. And so what happened was this got this way when the toe was out here a little further. See that? And so now you would, if the toe was taken down and it came back, well, then eventually you're going to have to work it so these are going to come back too, like that. And you're going to have to grow in the heel and different things here to get this bend out of the foot to bring all this up here. Let me just, anyway. Anyway, you're working on a plan to get all these things back into alignment so that they are lined up, similar to what you're seeing here. You're going to have a straight coronary band. All your horn tubules are going to gradually recede till they get to the back of the foot, and you have at least 2 inches of heel. So this is a good thing to look at your foot to see what needs to happen. So like if I was looking at this foot, and sometimes there's no one exact right answer for the moment, and sometimes it's kind of hard to choose what to work on. Okay, but like I'm trying to think, if I was looking at this foot and this was Valor's foot, what would I do right here? Okay, now another thing I noticed here, just a minute here. Okay. Okay, see how this foot looks straight here? A foot should look, when you're looking at it on the ground, from the side, it should look straight like that. It should not look like this. Oh, that's the wrong one. Never mind. Should not look like this. See there? This one here, notice, oh, you stupid thing. Wait a minute. I'm using the wrong deal. This one here is like that. And so what I started doing was just that, just even doing that, looking at the side of your foot. And if you see it looks dipped like that, that means that it's actually too high and long. And if you leave it a little bit like that every time, it's going to cause these horn tubules to do exactly what they're doing here, which is eventually get pushed forward. So you just come in there, you look at your foot, you come in there, and as much as possible, you just want to flatten that out a little bit on the side. See? Like so. And then bevel it. And even looky there, even just taking off that much, see how it backed up these horn tubules here? Okay, they are here. Let's see. They're here, but see how much that backs it up? Quite a bit. Right here is right here. And if I take it back, just a minute here. If I take it back up to here, that takes it back that much. See, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to get all these in alignment. You're trying to get the back of the foot to stand up and all these tubules to kick back. Kick back. See, these here, if they come back, they will kick the ones behind them back to where eventually they go all the way back. They'll kick this heel up and kick this cartilage up, and then you'll be more in alignment. See, and here's the deal too. Then any jamming that is in here, once you kind of shorten that up and bevel it, that's going to give it a chance to drop and come out of the capsule. The capsule is under constant pressure to move back where it's supposed to be. Because for stuff to move and be out of place, well, that's your anatomy. How much can you move your hoof capsule? Or how much can you move your fingernail before it's out of place? See? And so that's all this is. They got a finger. They got 4 fingers, 4 digits. Okay, so anyway, let's look at a couple of pictures of what retracted sole looks like, just so we know, and that we know that's what it is. It's sole that was stretched out, and then the rain came And then the walls suck back in and they push the sole back too under the foot. The stretched out sole. So it's,
Linda,
yeah.
could you go to my messages and get the pictures that I just drew on that is Tiffany's pictures and share it on the group? I'm showing how much the soul ridge has began to come back.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see here. And that's
Do that without showing the
is
message.
that on yours? Or did you send it to her?
No, if you
See,
sent it to you.
I sent it to her and she sent it to me and I sent it to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just a second here. Ah, okay. Yay, that's a pretty good drawing there. You got good eyes there, girl.
Thank you.
Okay, let me make this bigger. Yeah, because I wasn't really able to show it, but you can. Let's see. Share. Okay, so that's a really good rendition of that. You did good. So
Thank
see,
you.
when those walls came back, that sole was pushed up like that. The sole ridge, which had been stretched out. So that's pretty interesting. Okay, well, thanks. Thank you, Anonymous.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I'm going to look up some retracted sole here. Let's see. Okay, so here's what they say about it. Let's see. Okay. They say retracted soles, and okay, this is AI, right? AI only knows what we tell it. And so if all the experts are primarily saying one thing, that is what AI is going to search out and find for you. Okay? But if we're to ask the same AI right now, give me 5 instances where one person was right and the whole world was wrong. And boom, your first person you're going to get is probably Ignaz Semmelweis. Okay? Um, so when it comes to a lot of stuff on these hooves, guess what? We're right and the whole world is wrong. And I'm sorry about that. I wish it were not so. We're going to try and make it not so. Okay? Um so right. So here's what they say. Retracted soles in horses refers to a condition where the sole appears unnaturally concave, seemingly, see what I say, pulled up into the hoof, like sucked up. Okay? This can lead to thin, sensitive soles, making horses footsore, especially on hard surfaces. Now, it had just rained, and so look here. What causes retracted soles? Oh, aren't they just going to add heels? See, this is so ridiculous. Wet conditions. Prolonged exposure to wet or muddy environments weakens the sole, allowing it to be drawn up into the hoof. No, what happened was the whole wall was stretched forward and the foot it's under pressure and wanting to be pulled back anyway. And so then prolonged moisture and wet makes everything soft enough in the sole so that that wall and sucking back can push that sole back under the toe. See, and then you wind up with this funky ridge. Poor hoof shapes, like those with long toe or a dish foot, can exacerbate the issue. Other hoof conditions, oh, high heels, can contribute to sole retraction by putting pressure on the sole and restricting its natural expansion. You're so full of crap. Other hoof issues, they want to blame high heels for everything. But see, they would think us growing normal heels is high heels. Other hoof issues, conditions like laminitis or abscesses can also be mistaken for retracted soles. Okay. Sole appears unusually concave or cupped. There may be a distinct drop off from the white line to the sole. The horse may be sensitive to pressure on the sole, especially hard surfaces. The sole may appear to have excessive concavity. Well, anyway, it didn't on her horse, but let's look at some images. What I want you to see is the ridges it creates, like here. See that ridge? Okay, now it looks like at some point the quarter broke out of this horse over here. That would make it easier for the wall to push this sole back under the foot too. And see, they're looking at that thinking that's concave. No, what happened was that
Linda, I
stretch.
can't tell which hoof you're talking about.
Oh, okay, sorry. Let me see if I can get one up here.
Sorry, can somebody tells me why I have the translation in Spanish?
It's me because I'm needing it to help me speak Spanish better.
What? Oh, on what? On what? What are you talking about?
On your Zoom meeting, I have the closed caption on in Spanish for me.
Okay, but Angelique shouldn't be getting it.
Yes, written in Spanish now.
Yeah, what did you do to take control of the meeting? You,
I didn't do anything.
not you, not you,
I
not
just
you,
saw
No.
what happened. I
not
fixed
you, anonymous there.
I only
I don't
spoke
have
Anonymous.
Spanish
Spanish and that's
captions.
all.
Now I have it in English again.
Okay, that's funny. Yep.
Okay, we
Yeah,
are in the international here, and sometimes
that was funny.
And
Okay,
now I have it in English.
huh?
I fixed it.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a foot that has, they call it retracted sole. Okay, and all it was this was stretched out sole that was stretched out forward, and in a muddy, wet condition, the wall pulled back. You can see why that'd make the toe sore. You know, makes it look concaver and stuff. Let's look at some more here. Let's see, share. Okay. And look, here's another one. Just a minute. Oh, that's the same one. Oh, well, no. See, I should have scrolled down. Easy Care had some more. So there's a couple
the,
more here.
the interesting things in all these photos is how the central sulcus is not central. It's coming back.
Yeah, but they're also hoof bound, and the bulbs are still pulled under too. So anyway, retracted sole. See, all this is an interpretation of what you're looking at, right? So
I see all these hoofs bounded.
yeah, they're all bound for sure. In fact, we hardly ever see one that isn't bound, huh?
No. So if this hoof expands to the normal size, I think the sole will come more decent.
Oh yeah, and this you can just take this out. You know, see, I wouldn't let that stay there. I'd take it out. because it was just stretched forward. It's just going to become it would just be irritating. It's not, it was stretched out sole and then it just got pushed back into a ledge. So I'd take that out anyway on all of these. Take that out, scribe it out.
And
I want
then
to
again,
trim
and
this
then
hoof.
Oh, that was confusing. Too many people at once. What?
then again, if you don't take that restracted sole out, what happens? The horse walks on his sole rather than the hoof wall.
Well, yeah, but in this case, this piece shouldn't be here anyway. It's excess from when the foot was stretched forward. So in order for it's going to be pushing up against his toe internally too. Because ideally when the foot is right, that 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 hoof wall, you don't want them totally on the hoof wall all the time anyway. Okay, anyway. Although, what I'm learning is that some of these things we know distort feet also might work together to correct some issues. Like if you had a contracted heels, but you allowed the sides to kind of flare out a little bit, it might pull that apart. Like, because see, the way I started this was the farrier was doing a farrier pasture trim where I left the walls just a little bit higher than the sole. And gradually my horse's feet kept getting bigger and bigger around. And that's what got me to trimming for myself. And the thing about it is that could actually be used if you could get a foot to do that, to kind of spread itself out, the leverage on those walls, pulling the foot like apart. And I think there's probably a use for some of the things that are done to distort hooves, to use them as maybe corrective measures sometimes. Okay, let's see here. See if there's anything else here. Okay, and it was Esco Buff, who's really a well-known, pretty famous farrier. He's the first one to start calling it retracted sole. And think about it, it is being retracted, right? It got stretched forward with the wall. So when the wall pushes back, the sole that got stretched forward is retracting backwards to make that ledge. But it's not because it's getting sucked up into the foot. It's because the stretched forward sole's being forced back by the wall. Let me see if I can find another good picture.
It's like when you wear pants and a belt, and then sometimes your belly hangs over the top.
There you go. Here, this is a good one. Just a second here. Okay, look at that one. See, that's a little different. Now, see, you didn't have anything that dramatic, but you can imagine that has to make a horse feel uncomfortable if that sole was stretched clear out here, and they're kind of dependent on that toe too, and used to that thing sticking out there, and then it just all sucks back and pulls that sole up like that. See, so anyway, it was interesting. I'm gonna go back to this one picture that that Anonymous sent. Let's see if I'm on the right one.
That's the correct one.
Okay, there we go. So you can see a little ledge here. It wasn't severe, but and she didn't even take that much off. But it was enough to kind of discombobulate him for a few days, and now he's doing better, and now his feet will be doing better. And if she does this again, I don't think she'll get as extreme a reaction. See.
He's not going to let it get that bad again.
Okay, you're going to keep a handle on them toes, aren't you? All righty. Oh, goodness me. Well, so Tiffany, have you got anything else to say in this matter?
Yeah, I think I've walked away with a hypothesis that might be helpful, but it's unproven. So I'll say it and you can.
Okay.
Okay. I think when we're advised to notch a hoof, it's a good idea. I'm a proponent of notching hooves correctly. However, I made a mistake of notching a hoof without having the toe in the correct tact measurements. And my hypothesis is that when I notch that hoof incorrectly, it helps shoot the toe more forward.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So notching when done correctly, but I made the mistake and I'm taking ownership of it, of not
Okay.
having that toe in the correct dorsal wall pillar numbers.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
That's awesome. Does anybody else got any comments? Anything they've seen or done or anything like that that you
Hi,
see?
Linda.
I
This
have
is,
Hi, Elena.
sorry, somebody started talking. I don't mean to interrupt. No? Okay, so I'll just say,
me, Elena. You go on, and then I have a question.
oh,
Okay.
my dear Angeliki, I'm so happy to hear your voice. Finally, you emerged. It's so nice.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
Send you a big kiss.
I was just thinking a lot about you. Anyway, so with respect to the feet, I was just 10 minutes. I wasn't on the call because I had to organize something here. But I just want to share quickly my experience with
Okay.
one of my geldings. Because on the hind feet, I have really difficulty standing him up. And I have been dealing with the issue that you have been describing now.
Wow. Okay.
And it has been very, very frustrating. And I am trying to do just what you're describing, but I also notch quite a lot behind the lowest of the tubule, the angle of the tubule, as
Okay.
quite heavily. But I had, and once I actually made him sore on the hind right. I took too much, just got carried away.
Okay.
But he got over it. He wasn't happy, and I was really freaking out and feeling really bad about it.
Yeah.
But he recovered quite well. But I'm still struggling on the hinds,
Mm-hmm.
and it is very frustrating indeed. What I'm experiencing and what is frustrating for me, that I have this the heel rolling effect on him.
Mm-hmm.
So every time I take the edges of the heel platform, I go back and it again looks like he rolled his heels back. And
Okay.
because he doesn't have much and he's pounding on his frog, he doesn't have much heel height, like really not much. I just really don't know what to do because I don't want to put shoes on him. And especially if I invite the farrier, first of all, they will make me really uncomfortable, but I can deal with that. But second, they will just do their own trim on him.
Okay.
And I'm dealing with that. And now I decided what I do with rolling the heel. I just measure the heel height to the point of the heel, and the length is not changing of the heel. So
Okay.
he has like now 4.5 centimeters, or 4.5 centimeters and 5, which is like almost 2 inches. But for his feet, it's actually short.
Oh.
He
Okay.
doesn't have elevation at all.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe what I'm experiencing, he grew the inner foot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't have
Yeah. How old
the
is he
whole.
again?
Sorry,
How old is he again?
he's like 6 years old, so
Okay.
he's young.
Okay.
And what I'm experiencing, that he has the internal foot got thicker at the back. So when you take and you measure the how you call it, the frog stay, he has it. He has more of it, but
Okay.
the horn part of the heel is short. And I remember you were talking that he's growing in internally, and then he maybe start grow the external part more. It will be more visible. I don't know.
Yeah. Huh. Well, it's
I don't know. I'm trying to document it. I notched him quite heavily yesterday on white foot. I measured it. His dorsal wall is 9 centimeters. I'm not sure what that is in inches. And I'm not sure if he has 9 centimeters of the dorsal wall, how much I can take off,
Well,
because he doesn't have much foot.
yeah, that is 3.5, but just a tad over 3.5 inches.
Mm-hmm.
So you could take at least a 1/4
1/4 of an
of an
inch.
inch. Yeah.
So I will probably tomorrow. I won't be able to do it, but I would like to try it. I can send you a couple of pictures if we
Yeah.
have to have a look. But
Okay.
so
Yeah,
it's
I got
just
my
I didn't have, but it's quite. I mean, it's drastic. I think I'm a little bit worried to show it to the world.
That's okay. You don't have to show it to your world, but I'll look.
Yeah, wait a second. Yeah.
I'll look.
Okay.
Feeling.
Yeah, you kind of, you know what? You just cringe.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I know.
You just cringe, but you're experimenting, and I think we all should be proud.
This is a
That
research. This is a research group.
exactly, because we're sharing this stuff.
Yeah. This isn't, we got all the answers, but we do absolutely have some.
So
Okay.
people,
And
people could learn from our mistakes. I mean, that's
yeah,
also something.
yeah, that's
Correct.
what made us. We're one big mistake here. But that's how we wound up here,
I actually don't mind, because I know that every mistake I make an effort to learn from it and analyze it and really, really learn from it. So,
Well, I'm not seeing anything terrible in what I'm looking at here.
well, maybe it's just me,
Yeah, it is. It is.
But,
it's just you and stuff, because
but
this doesn't look bad
because
at all.
and we have really, really dry, like you see the frog, it's kind of pounded, and I know I need to trim it more. But it's
Can I go ahead and show it?
Yeah, sure, go on.
Okay.
I don't mind. It's just I was joking. It was for my
Okay.
ego.
No, this does not look bad at all. And stuff. I see where your notches are.
Well, notches are quite. I just made them bigger because in the end, what I have been successful, I have quite a few horses that I simply do not have physical opportunity and time wise to do something. So I just do like not even a pasture trim. I just take the lengths a little bit and I make huge chunks of notches out. I just check where the lowest angle of the tubule is and I just chunk out basically. And then they kind of straighten up. Or at least the heel's not going forward. That's my experience with notches.
Yeah.
That's why I do it, because that's what I saw in the horses that are self-trimmed. They have ugly feet with huge holes, and it seems that it works for them. So I just do.
Yeah, I've been seeing it all over in them wild horses.
And what is interesting with this foot, the quality of the white line changes all the time because the foot is moving. So at the beginning, his toe quarters were really dirty and there was disattachment, and his heels were black. The white line in the seat of corn was really black, and the more they moved back, the heels moved back, the line became more the connection became better, but now it's at the quarters or at the heel quarters more. So I suppose it just really shows where what's going on with the foot internally.
Well, it doesn't look bad to me at all.
Okay, well, I sent you also the side views.
Oh, okay. See, that looks good back there.
Now you see what I meant when I said that the part that internally is growing, because in some horses, I have another horse, a mare, that I need to start doing something about her. And when you grab between your fingers that part where the frog stay should be, she has nothing. She has like 1 centimeter. This dude, he already has almost 1 inch, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you're doing a great job.
Okay.
You know.
So we will see. This medial was really bad. So that is improved a lot. And I think on the Facebook I posted how it looked because that heel was really, really forward, and it's improving now.
Yeah.
Though it takes
Yeah, and it's not where you're at, it's where you're going.
Yeah.
See, there's a reason and a logic behind everything you're doing or
because
trying
the
to do.
toe
You're trying to
quarters the toe quarters they were really forward, but they were also jammed. You know how the tubules at the ground level, they're almost in 1 point. They come to 1 point, so he was really, really jammed there. I don't know. I think I don't have that picture here to send to you.
Yeah, because it looks pretty good right now in the toe quarters.
Okay,
I'd say.
well, that's kind of my story, but I always get, we all get probably doubting ourselves, and sometimes it's hard emotionally sometimes.
Yeah, I know it. I know. This is
But
an emotional thing for them and us.
I'm very grateful that I can send pictures to like some of our members, and Sharon helps me, and I can send to you and to Ageliki just to have a look and tell me, do you think I'm doing the right thing? It's so important, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think you're doing the right thing.
Really, really grateful. Thank you.
You're doing a great job. In fact, looking at you got the hair all trimmed up and everything, so you can really see what's going on. And so I see what you're doing here. You're going to try and get those heels to stand up.
Yeah, and it's very, very hard. It's really hard for me to do it.
Yeah,
but
it's hard for me too.
Because I see that he has very little of the actual foot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and it doesn't seem to grow. Maybe because we don't have the moisture, or I don't know. So that's what I'm struggling with. So I just hope we'll have more moisture, and then I will see some changes.
Yeah, you will. Winter will come and you probably get some more moisture.
Elena.
You're in the same shoes, Ageliki, right?
Sorry, Elena, in that foot, I would scribe a little bit the corn of the seat.
The corn? The seed of corn.
I would scrub and I will discover a little bit the corn of the seed.
Okay. Okay.
At that point.
Ageliki, unfortunately, I don't hear you because the line is breaking.
There.
Not so good.
You go on the corner of the heel buttress under, there.
Yes, I hear you. Yeah.
Out.
Okay, I will try to do it.
Sorry.
Yep. I think
Yeah.
it looks good, and that
Yes, I
sounds
would
like a
do
good
only the
idea too.
corner there, a little bit there.
Just kind of loosen things up.
But that's a good foot. I mean,
You
Yeah.
mean to clean up the seat of corn a
just to
little bit?
uncover a little bit of sole there in the corner.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds
I'll do
good.
that.
Yes, yes.
Thank you
Try
for
to find some more sole there
thank you for
to
the suggestion.
fill up with sole.
Okay. Cool. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Otherwise, it's very good. I mean, it's a good hoof.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Look
Well,
at that
thank
sole.
you.
Looks really nice. You know.
And he's moving. He's not move even without the heel. He
Mhm.
is. He's not moving in a bad way. I
Okay.
would say
Good.
maybe
Yeah.
because we have sand, but
Yeah.
yeah. So
Okay.
he's good. Well, thank you for looking.
Hey, well, thanks for sharing. You know, you're putting yourself out there.
I actually, if we are going to discuss toes, I am struggling with another part. I actually asked for some advice, but I haven't got it. And it's a really bound foot. And I think I took too much toe and I bound that
Bound
foot,
it more.
bound it more. So I'm really struggling what to do, but I thought I just need to leave the toe alone. I
Yeah.
notched it and I just cleaned the bars and I notched the foot, and that's all. I decided just to wait until the foot can expand a little bit and grow, and then leave the toe alone, grow the toe, and try to expand and open the foot to the back. That should be the kind of the strategy with it, right? If you see that the foot is getting more bound because you shorten the toe, right?
Yep.
Okay, well, I think I will wait until next hoof chat, and if I'm not getting anywhere, then I will ask for advice there.
Okay. And
Thank you.
did you ask me for advice? Did you send me anything in Messenger
I
and I missed
might
it?
have, because I sent to Devon, but Devon, I think we're quite busy.
Okay.
And also Sharon looked at it. So
Okay.
I'm going to wait with it. And if I get somewhere, then I will just share it. So just to show my mistake and how I dealt with it, so we can be, it could be more useful to everybody.
Okay. Because sometimes on the toe, I mean, sometimes it's a matter of getting it's a toe that needs to come back. It or a flare or whatever. Sometimes it's getting the back of the foot straightened up that helps the toe do
I
what
don't
it's
know,
supposed to
because
do.
I think it was, I need to learn how to handle it, because I haven't, maybe because it's the lack of moisture also here,
Yeah.
because if the foot would get moisture, then it kind of it would expand. uh,
Okay.
but in my case, I think I took a bit of a toe, basically, so that was the problem. I actually sent you the pictures, just
Oh,
maybe
okay.
you but we don't need to do it now, we can do it later.
Okay.
So in blue, basically, I wrote my plan, what I'm going to do with this.
Okay. Well, I see what you mean and stuff, but I'd have to study it
Yeah,
and stuff. I'm a little slow today. If I don't
it's
answer
okay.
real quickly, I mean,
I
I don't know what it is. I'm just really tired today.
I think, don't worry, let's keep it for the next one.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, no problem. I thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for sharing, dear.
Because you want to help everybody, so you just have to pace yourself sometimes.
Oh man, it's been a crazy week. I don't know why I am all of a sudden feeling so freaking exhausted.
Well, you're
So,
not the only one, I think, so you need to just rest.
well,
Find rest.
the truth is I am not doing all that great. Um
Mhm.
And so what I'm trying to do right now is trying to get all this research together so I can put it somewhere where all of you have access in case I die. And that's
Well,
literal. Okay. I'm 70 years old. I've got Lyme's disease. Right now I'm on antibiotics trying to get rid of it. I'm having weird heart palpitations and all kinds of crap, and I feel like dog poop. And so I want to get all this research and everything together. I'm not expecting to kick the bucket anytime soon. Okay, but the life is life. You know what I mean? And I want to have all this stuff available for people so that anybody that's left can keep going forward. You know what I mean? So this is not a prophecy, all right? We're not
yeah,
that kind of group.
we all got very quiet.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Oh
So,
wow.
well, thank you, Linda. You
Well,
know,
thank you, Elena.
Being
Appreciate
at the same
appreciate
moment
you.
of my, well, being at the same moment of my life,
Mhm.
I can feel you, but we have a long way to go, dear Linda.
you have
Yeah,
to. You must.
unfortunately. Um,
So I wanted to ask from the previous horse, I wanted a question. I have a question.
okay.
Meanwhile, when we treat the contracted soul, not on this one, the previous one, Linda,
Oh, okay, just a minute. Gotta get there. On
the
Tiffany's horse?
Tiffany's, yes, Tiffany's one.
Okay. Let's see here.
Whatever photo, I don't care
Okay.
if you can go
Well, I'm
back.
clicking on it. Stupid thing. Just a minute. Let me see if I can find it.
Don't worry, I can say my question and
It's
everybody
okay.
will
Well,
understand.
it's just not. Let me see if I can refresh the page for some reason. I was clicking on her name and it was not doing anything.
Well,
You know
I
what?
just wanted
Is
to
anybody
ask, meanwhile,
okay?
when we treat the contracted soul,
Mm-hmm.
would be possible to take care of the back of the foot also? I mean, bars and corner of the seat and the heel buttresses.
Yeah,
Or should we
yeah.
wait until the rest, the front of the hoof gets better?
Yeah, well, what I found is if I did everything at once, like she did this one part and he was tender for a couple days. He was sore and discombobulated and uncoordinated for a couple days. And so it's probably good that because I can look at this foot too and I can see, well, this mark needs some work and this, that, and.
Yes.
And she did just take the apex of the frog back. Um, but
Because
I think,
sometimes maybe the whole situation brings the hoof some painful conditions.
yeah, yeah. So not do the whole thing all at once.
No,
Um,
small things, small
yeah,
things.
yeah,
For example, the right up photo,
uh-huh,
you see the heel buttress, the right one, like we are looking at it.
uh-huh.
The upper line, you see how it goes off the back of the hoof. Some
Yeah,
small intervention could be helpful, I
yeah.
think. I don't
Well,
know if
she
we can do it.
she did take off that. You mean that lip that's sticking out there or something?
Yes,
Yeah, she
yes,
did take that off.
yeah.
Um, and worked on that. Um, and I see too where
Slowly, the whole hoof would come to a better state. The
Yeah.
whole.
Yep. And of course, this is the same foot, isn't it? Now I'm looking at it. Tiffany,
No, these are all 4
all
feet.
four? Oh, okay. Okay. I was worried there for a minute. I thought, wow, that really changed.
Point
My
that
goodness.
I didn't share this with you, but I did is the next day take his bar down.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
small things, not all everything together, but small things, small corrections.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point to make for sure.
Because sometimes, we correct one thing and the horse is sore of another thing that goes wrong.
Yeah, that can be too. Sometimes it's just hard to, you just never know.
Here's the thing for me. It's an analogy my friend made, so it's not mine, but I think it was really pointful, helpful. It's like when your mom gave you bangs or a fringe, if you're European, when you were a little girl, and she made it uneven. So then she would try to trim one side, and then that side was too high, so she would trim the other side, and then suddenly you wake up with really short bangs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been there.
I did it to myself.
Yeah.
So I'm very nervous that if I go in there, a little picayune here, picayune there, then I'm going to wind up with really short bangs or hoof.
Yeah. You got to watch that.
So
You know,
it's a
um,
vicious.
it's like you say, Elena said, she feels like she got overzealous, you know, and that's the way I felt on my last trim, which was 8 weeks ago. Um, and then I trimmed a foot the day before yesterday, but it's so hot here. I'll do one foot one day and then skip a day and do the other foot. And at 70, you got to give me a break. But he's probably glad, And you have to be careful once you start really doing this and getting, adept at it, that you just don't go, well, you don't get into that perfectionist mode of doing too much, you know, which I feel like I really did do uh 8 weeks ago. Um, in the end, I got tremendous results, but I could have gone at it slower, which would have been better for him. Um, so anyway, but got so during this whole thing of unwrapping these heels. Now, you notice how you got those things going around, people saying it all over the place, trimming to the hard sole plane. Has everybody been hearing that? I know you guys go tripping around other hoof groups and hearing people talk and stuff. And the uh how is it? HSP, hard sole plane, right? That this is a constant, and so your trim will never be wrong as long as you trim to the hard sole plane. Has anybody heard that but me?
I
No,
have
I
not.
don't.
I've heard
Really?
it.
Okay. So anyway, that's coming from, Jamie Jackson teaches it. Okay. And then Hoof and Marvelous, Phoenix Way, Lindsay Satchel. Okay, she teaches it. And then you got this other gal who's part of her group that's something tack livery. Okay, she teaches it. And of course, all these groups, and everybody, okay, is connected at the hip, ultimately in the genealogical line from J.B. Jackson and what he teaches. Um, Lindsay Satchel was AANCP whatever trimmer, that organization that he built. And so they have this foundation from him. And the thing about it is, I want to understand this better because in my mind and stuff, I know that's not right. Because when these feet get bound and the heels curl in and over, and the bar grows up and in a different spot, and then the sole grows up and fills up the false heel, you can have hard sole plane, but it's not the true seat of the corn. The true seat of the corn has been buried somewhere. I'm going to show you an example here, just a second, of when I thought I had a good foot and I had full sole in the heels, but my foot was still bound. Now I think, see, I never called it hard sole plane. I called it live sole plane because that's what Gene Ovenick called it, was live sole plane. And it was a thing with him too, cleaning out the seed of the corn and bringing the heels back to the base of the frog, things like that. But I just want to show you a couple pictures of some things that I went through with Valor's feet in unbinding them, where, for the last, since, let's see, November, okay, I've been uncurling those heels, coming to the realization of just how curled in those heels truly were. And so we're going to look at a picture here when I thought I had live sole plane, or hard sole plane as they were calling it. Because what they do is they teach it as a constant, that you trim to the, if you trim to the hard sole plane, you will never go wrong. Okay, but they've also been taught to see the foot with low to no heels, like Jamie Jackson teaches. Now, they have picked up on that you shouldn't just take them toes back like I did for years, but we haven't done that in a long time. We'll take them down and gradually take them back. But you see, I used to rocker toes, because what happens is, when you're trimming the heels out, the toes will start to shoot forward, and then you got to bring back the toes. And so that was a real thing for a while, at least for me. But then gradually I started leaving off of that, because see, I used to rocker toes. Anybody know what rockering a toe is?
I don't.
Okay, well, that's where you take, okay, you determine what the toe length is. And like if your frog, you measure your frog from the base of your frog to the apex, you cut it in half, and then from the apex forward, that's about the length of your toe. And if your toe is too long, meaning the sole is stretched even past that, you rocker the toe. That means you roll the toe and you do a bevel into the sole, however far back your toe ought to be. And man, it really makes horses sore. Just like, okay, all Tiffany did was a little bit of leveling to bring down a little bit, but because the toe was stretched forward, it kind of pulled back, and just that was uncomfortable for him. In this regard, it's like you are literally beveling it back into the sole. That's what a rocker toe was. And anyway, but so yeah, it would bring toes back, but not in a correct or right way, I know now. And so that was something Gene Ovenick taught, because of course his feet were his toes were shooting forward, because they're taking the heels down to the base of the frog. So just a minute here, and I'll find this deal here. Okay. Okay, we'll look at this first. Just a minute here. Okay. Share. Okay, so this is in right over here, this one here on the right. Okay, so I thought I had a good foot here. I mean, look at see, this is live sole or hard sole plane in the seat of the corn here. See? And look, the foot doesn't look narrow. It doesn't look like the heels are contracted. It looks like it has decent bars. I mean, it's a decent looking foot, you know. Well, au contraire, it was anything but. Um, the thing about it was still a very bound foot. And so this was in, well, if I found just a minute, and I'll see if I can find the original picture, because it's in 2019 that I took this picture. Here we go. Let's see, share. Okay, so the story goes like this. I thought I had a good foot, but I'd already found out about the cartilages. See that cartilage? That they're not supposed to look like that. And so I knew something was up because when the foot was really wet, the cartilage would expand and the back of the foot would expand. And then when it's dry, it would shrink back up. And so that's when I started learning about this periopal that was possibly growing between the bulbs. And that's when I started doing experiments with that. Now, look again at this foot. Look at this beautiful white line all the way around. Okay, who would know this is not the true heel? It looks pristine. Totally clean. You can see it all the way, no smudging. I mean, who would know that? But the truth was these bulbs were wrapped way up in this foot. And this foot was bound. And how do we tell? Look at the cartilage. Cartilage ain't supposed to look like that. Like it does look like a Christmas bulb almost, you know. And so just because of that, I knew something was not right with that. So I started experimenting. And that's when I did that experiment where I totally trimmed out what was between the bulbs and in the which you might call the central sulcus or whatever. And I saw the foot expand in 3 days. But it was still bound. The cartilage is expanded out, but the frog was still bound and in place, and there were just a lot of things in the foot that weren't right. Now what's interesting is look at the color of the foot and how puffy that coronary band is. Because today, this foot is striped, more so than it was right here. It was, see, the foot was already expanding. Because when the feet contract and get constricted, it destroys the pigment. And so then when they expand again, your feet get striped. How about that? Not only that, but I can go all through his pictures. His sole used to be as gray as the horse that Elena was showing us, that young horse. His soles used to be totally gray. And even here, the sole here has more gray on it than it does today. So I started doing experiments. I'm going to keep that photo here. Let's see. Here's one. I'll show you. Let's see. Share. Okay, so I started cleaning up and the foot and the frog start expanding. Okay, so this was 11/30/19 and this is a year later. Okay, and so this area in here is opening up. Right in here, it starts, as I start trimming, the bars look completely different. Even the heels look completely different because you know what I didn't notice on this foot? Is that the heel buttresses were actually totally turned in, pointing towards the frog. See, now you're starting to see where the wall is curved around, where here you don't notice it. You know why you don't notice it? Because your eye is drawn to this. And this makes the foot look wider than it actually is. And so already in here in 11/30/20, a year later, it's changed quite a bit because I have been trying to unwrap the thing by cleaning out all that periopal rope that it had and the periopal frog that it wound up having and stuff like this. Well, I'm going to show you just how hollow all of this gets, because what's happened is, okay, if your heel buttress, let me get an annotate here. Okay, so this heel buttress actually, well, just a minute. Get a different color. This heel buttress actually goes in right into here. And it would be shaped, well, it's hard to draw when it's down there. Just a minute. Ultimately, if you were to shave all this down, it would look like this. Ultimately, see, this part of the frog is over part of it, but that buttress is pointed directly that way. This one, just about the same, more like that is how they're shaped. The wall and the heels are totally curled in. And so that means that the length of the foot going this way if this part here is curled around behind, then the foot is shorter, like that, because this part here, okay, should be out like this, showing from the side, which I'm going to show you how it's doing that right now. As it uncurls, it makes the foot longer. Let's see. So as I unbound the foot, this area in here started getting hollow. And so I believed that as soon as the foot was totally unbound, so that the heel buttress was pointed more this way, and see if I unroll that, what's it going to do? It's going to come out to here, right? Well, that's going to open a bunch of sole that has been covered up for eons, that has not been growing. So what I'm saying is I could trim in this foot, because this is a false foot. I could trim to the hard sole plane in here, and it is still not the real foot of the horse. But another thing I'm going to show you is I could trim to the hard sole plane and never restore the foot and keep lowering the heels and making the capsule smaller from behind. So I'm going to show you how that could have happened also due to that belief, hard sole plane thing. Let's see here. Okay. So I have a whole, just a minute. So let me find, okay. Let me find, I'll just show you some different, let's see. Yeah, that's not the one I want either. Just a second. Well, to show you different ways the feet look. Well, no, I don't want to show that. Wait a minute. Okay, here's another. Here's another picture showing you how it's different, how it changes as it starts to unbind. Let's see. Okay, so here it's starting to unbind, but see, cleaning this out and cleaning the bars, okay, because these are not, this is not the true bar and where the true bar is supposed to be. Part of this right in here is the buttress and the bar merged together to form the bar. The buttresses have been so curled in that part of what they're growing is part of the bar. And so then starting to clean that out, because you figure as long as those bars are there holding that foot like that, there's no way those heels are going to unroll. So starting to get the courage to take the bars down. And then in our hoof chat, we kind of got this thing figured out that you might be able to just dress them down and have that work too, even better. So, okay, let me find you a series where I show you how this wall will expand, the bulbs come unwrapped, and it's going to open up into sole where there's never been sole, maybe ever, because it's been bound. Well, maybe a long time ago when he's like 3, you know, might have been there, but pretty much for years and years it's been covered over, and Steady's got false heels and false seed of the corn. So let me go find this picture here. Might take me a second. Okay, I need to, it's in a different file, so hold on. YouTube. Pictures, come here. Let's see. Okay, so I have here somewhere a whole series of pictures. Well, okay, here's one. This is when, and you're going to look at this and go, oh my goodness. Okay. Just a second. Share, and I usually don't share this one because people go, oh my goodness, that looks horrible. No, what that is, this is soul that is open, that has not been opened before. And when I took the bar down, it just revealed very, very, very thin soul in the seed of the corn. Paper thin. I did not trim that out. This is heels that opened up finally to an area where the true soul of the seed of the corn was located. And there was no soul there. Oh, a minute. Just a second. Okay, here's an example. There's the foot that seemed to have the uh, hard sole plain, live sole, healthy in the seed of the corn. Look at the difference in the shape and size of the 2 feet. See, this is the foot that is opening up that area coming, and you see, and so that area of the heels is opening up. There's no sole in there because it's been covered up for years. For years. So hold on a second.
Linda, I just wanted to add the picture that you showed that there is no soul in the seed of corn. I came across when you trim foals that haven't been trimmed since birth. And what happens is, they have this tiny contracted feet. And when you catch them like at 6 months old or whatever, and you take down, you start opening the back of the foot, trimming the bars, you will have these huge holes without any sole at the seed of corn.
Oh, wow.
Chunks falling out of them. And it doesn't look bloody like in your picture, so yours looks a bit dramatic, but structurally it's the same.
Yeah.
Absolutely the same.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, thank you for letting me know that. So I'm going to show you this picture of a progression of going that direction. Okay. And you're going to see how just All I was doing was keeping the bars trimmed over and down. That's it. I wasn't taking out any sole in the seat of the corn. So it was just keeping the bars over. And from that, this is what happened. Just a minute. Okay, where are you? Stop share. Okay, so here's a progression up to the picture I just showed you. Okay, so I'm not sure. I didn't put a date on this, but it would have been after that 219, that whenever that was. Okay, so this would have been after. So all I started doing, if you'll see, I started trimming the bars down because I felt that the foot could not expand if I didn't start taking those bars down, because that wasn't the real place that the bar should be to begin with. And so all they're going to do is hold the foot in that position. So, okay, so we got this, and I trimmed it and took the bars down, and we got this. And what you're going to see, okay, see, you see full sole here. And you're going to see the heels get and you see how wrapped around. Well, look here. It's kind of a bad picture, but I'm going to draw on it. Okay, so the heel comes around like this. Okay, but the bar comes over here like that. See, that's not right. The heel should come around like this, and the bar should go like that. Should be just like that. See there? The bar should not be over here. And so I started cleaning the bar up. I never did clean the seat of the corn out. I only cleaned the bars up. Let's see. Where am I at? Okay. Okay, so just cleaning, and you see over here already it's starting to get a little hollow right in here, just from cleaning the bars up. Okay. Even more hollow here. And now it's starting to really accentuate the curve curling in of the heels right here. See, when the bar is up here like this, you just don't notice how really curled in those heels are. And if they're curled in, what are they doing? They're covering over the true sole of the seed of the corn in the actual physical internal heel. So this is actually sole that would be ahead of that, being made to look like the true seed of the corn when it's not. Okay, so now it's starting to be uncovered. Okay, so you see how it's getting hollow? All I'm doing is just trimming the bars and keeping them short and keeping them down. Okay, let's go over here. So again, doing the same thing, just taking the bars down right here. Again, now what I found happened was down. So this is six. Oh, I got some dates on some of them, I guess. So this 6/23, probably 19, and this is 7/14. Now, you see this little pink spot there? That's very, very thin sole right there. Okay, then I come out. Well, that was 7/14. I come out a couple weeks later. I trimmed the bars again. Look what was underneath it. How weird is that? Okay, it had this little kind of weird line, like that is a piece of bar that was literally over the sole, true sole of the heel. And when I took that bar down, this little line just appeared. And you can see over here it's starting to get pink. because you're getting closer to the sole corium. Well, as I said, I never took out any sole. I just kept trimming the bar down. That's all. So that was 722. So that then at 8-1, when I took the bars down again, what does it do? It uncovers the real sole that was hidden under there. See, the bars were up here, like so. Let me draw it. Okay, so your wall still curled around, okay, but your bars are up like this. And then this area here is full of sole. See, but back here is where your true seat of the corn is, back up in here, back here. So, you know, that's kind of freaky when that happens. Everything starts moving. Let's see here. And that, again, that's just from taking the bars over, continually taking the bars over. And as it did, the peel started to unwrap and opened up an area of sole that had never been opened before. So let's see here. Okay, so let me see if I see some more here. Just a second. Eventually we came to this number here, where then let me see if I'm got you here. Just a minute. Yeah, okay. Eventually, then here we are a couple years later at 4/14/22, where false frog and frog stay reveals itself. By this time, let me see what the sole looks like. It's still not completely the way it should be, but I've got totally different bars, but I discover I have a false frog. See, what's happening here is everything's moving in these feet. The sole's moving, see, because you're releasing the frog. Now, once the frog, the periopal frog was removed, this is the frog that it grew. Okay, but it would still take me a long time to realize just how curled in these heels really are. Let's see what we got here. So here I'm starting to get kind of a released foot in a way. Well, I want to show you what's going on with this foot now. You know, since the whole frog started coming back and that kind of deal. Where are we at here? Okay. Share. Well, here's his foot now. And this area in here is the first time it's been totally full of sole. Completely. The heels have uncurled a good amount, and this is totally completely filled up with real sole that was never there before. Not for a long time. It had been thinned and just not really grown in for a long time. But as soon as the frog started really moving back where it's supposed to, then that sole, now he's got solid sole. He's got the most solid sole. And he's growing. It doesn't look like there are bars there because I accidentally hit him with the grinder. But he's got brand new bars growing in straight. I'll show you what they look like here. That's what the back of his foot looks like now. Again, this is good sole growing in here. And you know how they're always talking about building up the digital cushion? No, you support the digital cushion by a decent frog stay and frog, and that is what plumps up the back of these feet, because that the real anatomy is being supported up where it's supposed to be supported.
Linda, and you're talking about the bars, and I'm looking about uh, the how the wall became thick, the thickness of the wall.
Oh, really? Yeah.
If you return to the sole view, look.
Yeah, it did get
Look,
thick, didn't it?
the thickness of the wall Valor has this moment.
Yep. Yeah, and the frog is totally different texture.
Yes, everything is different, but look
Yeah.
at I mean, it's amazing, the thickness of the wall.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thanks for noticing that.
And I have to tell you something else about the bars.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen many, many, many neglected Greek horses that have the cartilages really, really back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have a rectangular place. It's not a part of the hoof anymore because it's coming up and down to the heel, but it is really big,
Mm-hmm.
the cartilages. So the heels are driven to the sky.
Hmm. Okay.
These people who keep these horses sometimes bring the farriers and they put shoes or taking off the shoes. And I want to tell you something about the bars. All
Okay.
these horses grow the bars laying over the sole
Hmm.
line,
Wow.
and the bars arrive to the almost to the middle frog place.
Okay.
When the summer comes, these overlaid bars distag from the sole and they broke by themselves.
Wow,
No,
that's fascinating.
no one touches the bars of the horse,
Uh-huh.
no farrier, no trimmer, nobody. And these kind of bars come all to the half hoof on laying on the top of the sole.
Wow.
And when it's not a wet season, they distag from the sole and they broke by themselves.
Wow. Okay. That's amazing.
We
That's
don't
great to
do
know.
that.
Yeah.
Yes, we don't do that because we don't leave our horses to self-trim.
Uh-huh.
This is what I have seen in many horses that live on
Wow.
the mountains, the Greek
Uh-huh.
mountains, and they get trimmed like, I don't know, once per year.
That's amazing.
Tiny.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. That makes sense though, because I've been noticing on some of these cadaver feet I have that their
Uh-huh.
bars grow up and big, but they break off on their own.
Yes. And at the beginning, it's attached to the sole, and then they lift themselves, the bars, and they
Uh-huh.
broke.
Huh.
So maybe, maybe over trimming is not good.
Yeah. But not on a foot that's distorted. See, because they have decent feet and they're self-trimming. But once man has taken these feet
Of
and
course, of course.
distorted them, there's no way that you're going to get away from trimming these bars to get these feet open up. At
It's
least
because
that's my opinion now.
we have destroyed the feet of the horses.
Exactly. You
We
know,
have destroyed them. At least we should be attached to the inner anatomy. At least.
yeah.
This is
See,
what we should do.
I'll show you what his foot looked like. Okay, this is what I started with. And these are the heels that I cut to leave as prosthetic heels. And they finally kind of broke off and laid over the seat of the corn. See? But look at the bar. See, in the trim 8 weeks ago, the bars were gone. And this is the kind of bar that's growing back. You see how straight it is?
Yeah.
It's like a virgin bar, that hasn't grown, just like the true seed of the corn and the soul in the seed of the corn did not grow.
Not
Okay.
so. Not only. See how crescentric the soul is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I hadn't touched it. It may be even 10 weeks since I touched these feet with anything, you know. Um, and I had trimmed the heels because I found out you can cut these heels and leave them to be like a prosthetic height, like a lift, so that your bulbs will still want to unfold. I'll show you. Let me go to. I'll show you what he was 8 weeks ago.
Look how the buttresses came back.
Yeah, yeah, they really opened up and spread out because they were very contracted. Let's see here.
This look like a Greek horse's hoof.
Oh, good. That's my aim. That's my aim. Like in the
Really?
freezes. Yeah.
Really?
Okay. Let's see if I can find this picture here. I did some comparison pictures. Well, I thought I did some comparison pictures. Just a second here. Hmm.
Look the difference, how it was smooth and now it is all going up and down and curves and different.
Yeah. Let's see. Maybe this is the foot. Just a second here.
Good job, Linda Harris.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
Thank you, my friend. Let's see. I'm a little lost right now. Let's see if this is it. Okay, this is 610. This is when I trimmed him. So I'm gonna put that up there. Just a minute. This is when I kind of went overboard. Did everything, did the notches, did the frog, did the bars, which if I had it to do over again, I wouldn't have done as much. Okay. But what I'm looking at now is the results that I got the results that I was looking for, which was uncurling the heels, and the heel buttresses have grown back in. That I took also taken off for was that hook, the hook of the buttress that curls in and hooks into the sides of the frog, pushing the frog forward. So just a second here. Hold on. Okay, new share. That was the trim I did. On when was 6? Let's see. It's June. and haven't touched his feet in 10 weeks. So I'm going to put that other foot up here and I'm going to do a comparison shot. I'm not suggesting this, and I would not do everything I did was good. Just I don't know if I would have done that all at the same time. Because as I said, it was like he had EPM, which I think it was a combination of his feet were sore, and then because I didn't do anything to his back feet, and he was very, very uncoordinated in his back feet. That's why at first I just thought, well, it's my trim, and I felt so bad. And then I realized it was something a little more than that because he was acting very strange and very uncoordinated in the rear end. Now, he was a little flat footed in front, kind of like, but not like lame or something like that. Like, from doing barefoot trimming and stuff like that. Like, I know when they're tenderfooted, like, okay, he wasn't like that. He was more like he was similar though to how Tiffany's horse was kind of walking, kind of plopping his feet down, front feet, but it was the rear feet where he was really, which I didn't even trim, which he was just so uncoordinated. It was just weird. And that's why I thought he was getting EPM or something, because I'd also been feeding him on the ground over in the pasture. So let me put this other picture up there and then put the 3 pictures up, put this. See, I had that trim where you could see that his frog was coming back. It was so great. And so then I thought, well, I'm just going to retrim everything down again and maybe it'll move even more. And so just a minute here. Let me get this up here. Where are we at? Okay. Just a minute and I'll get these up here. So we can do a complete comparison. Okay. Okay, just a second here. Okay, just a second here. So you got to take them all and put them in a line and then take a snapshot of them. So, to do. Okay, share. Okay, here we go. Okay, there you go. So that's what it grew into. And that's what I wanted it to grow into. But I just don't think I would have done all of that at once in one trim, is all. Everything I did was trimming, was a corrective trimming technique. The notches are a corrective trimming technique. Thinning down the frog because your frog is distorted and bound and is been pushed under and forward into the foot. Because like I said, these feet are like a Rubik's Cube. Each heel is independent, and so is that center area and that frog. That gets pulled down and pushed forward and bound. And so you got your notches that you can do. The self-trimming notches. And then you've got the thinning down of the frog. You've also got the dressing down of the bars. For a long time and this is correct too, taking the bars back and down. Not necessarily thinning them out from the side as if you're dressing down a hoof wall, which pretty much, totally weakens them so that those curled in heels can uncurl. Okay. The other which was already done, which was I had cut them hooks off straight down to where the frog was. See, this is not ramping heel. This is removing part of that hook. All of it is to weaken. You want to weaken the back. You want to leave them something, but you also want to weaken the back of the foot so that the heels will decontract. See, so because you figure all these parts, they're all connected and they have all been rolled up and pushed in there. And so now you're wanting them to unroll because they are under pressure to unroll anyway. And the foot itself is wanting to pull apart. And so all these different things together, maybe not all like to the extreme at one time, like I did that day, but all of these things together work, including cutting the heels in such a way as if you were going to trim your heels down, but you cut it, but you just don't take it off. See, and he taught me that when he tore his cartilage off and it cracked the whole heel. And I didn't see that it was totally almost cracked off the heel buttress. And then that whole side of the foot straightened up. And it was his most run forward heel and it straightened up. So I thought, well, maybe we can use this as a corrective measure. It's like you're gonna take your heel buttress down, but instead you just make a cut, like with my little coping saw, but you leave the heel there. And so what it does is it retains the height while also releasing the heel buttress so that it can grow back in straighter and further back, because you need the height, because it is the lowering that makes the heels want to curl in. So you need the height so that they will want to uncurl. But if it's still connected to that piece, it makes it more stable. And so it will not uncurl as easy. Anyway.
Linda, can you bring back the last photo?
Which one is that?
The last one. This one.
Oh, okay. Just a second.
Yes, this
I
one.
thought I had it there. This one? Or the very
Just a
last,
moment.
the one that's trimmed?
This one or this one.
Okay.
So on the right, visually, on the right side, we
Mm-hmm.
can see a hoof of a domestic horse.
Mm-hmm.
On the middle, visually, I say what I see.
Okay.
On the middle photo, I see and neglected domestic hoof.
Yeah.
On the extreme left side,
Mm-hmm.
see a wild horse's hoof.
Really? Because I see something I over trimmed.
Yes, maybe it is over trim, but the lines and the visual
Okay.
side is of a horse that was left on the mountains for
Okay.
some.
Okay.
Well, I agree with Agaliki in the sense that the left one, that's where they would make these ugly big notches, and some feet would look, in a sense, this way. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
shape-wise.
Okay.
Oh,
They will probably have longer toe, and that will break later, but that's what you will see, there's huge gaps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, anyway, that's what it grew into. Um, and the sole is hard as a rock. I mean, the sole he has here, um, it may look like he has no concavity, but it's because the concave part of the sole is full of sole. So his sole is very, very, very hard. It's the best sole he's ever had, and the best frog he's ever had. So anyway, anyway, in the end, it turned out good, and you know, just learning these different corrective measures. Now these heels only, it was interesting. I thought, well, now what should I do? Well, I just nipped them off, and I still had 2 inches of heel. So, but I want you to look here between the bulbs back here, how the heels have gotten wider than they were over here. Now, it doesn't look slow over here, but I want you to see something. Okay, the heel buttress is right here. See that? That's where the heel buttresses are on him. So he in reality has a very narrow frog, and they're they they're pushing in up this way, and it's pushing the frog lip out this way, like that. Where over here, it's just totally different. His heel's totally widened up. Well, you can see. Okay, so his buttress is right here now. And you just see that the frog end is much wider and like uh, wider in here. The bulbs no longer are totally curled up in like that and covered over with the periopal rope. So the heels that were very contracted and curled in have really uncurled a lot, and the foot has gotten longer. And one of the signs of this is this deal right here. I'll show you. Wish I knew what I did with my pictures because I had comparison photos, and they seem to have, just a minute, they seem to have disappeared. Just a second. Where would they have gone? Maybe I put them in a different Valor location. This, okay, so I want to show you something here that I'm starting to figure out on these feet. Just a minute here, share. So we're looking for this frogs to come back and be in the place where these bulbs are now. You see where this bulb is here? Okay, actually this part of the frog is supposed to be there. So I finally think I figured out how this is supposed to be. So you know how you'll see these frogs And let's see, let me annotate. You'll see these frogs, and they'll have this design in the back of them that goes like this. Does everybody know what I mean? You see that a lot. This shape in the back of a frog. Well, so I know this frog is supposed to come back, that this piece right here, this little point, is supposed to come clear up here and be right there. So then where does this go? You know, and I finally figured that out, is that when these bulbs, right here, here's the bulbs connected to the frog. See it right there? When these heels finally uncurl and these bulbs and this whole frog finally comes back, it's going to take this frog and it's going to pull it, this part here is the vertical part that goes up behind the foot between the heels. Let me see if I could mimic it. Just a minute here. Let's see. Open it in Paint. Share. Okay, I'm going to try and cut it out and move it. So okay, it's going to be, that piece will move back similar to that. And yeah, pretty much like that. The instead of being underneath the foot, and then it will attach to the sides. You know, the bulbs are going to be more over here. I can't really move that the way I'd like to. But this frog, instead of being under the foot like it is right here, it's going to come right up here, and this is where it's going to be, and it'll grow and attach itself to the heels right there. Okay. Well, anyway, okay, I was going to show you one more thing here. Just a second. And also, just so you know, I trimmed that foot and he was not at all sore on it or anything, thank God. I trimmed it up just like what you see there, except I beveled the walls a little bit. And he's doing really good, really well. Let's see here. I want to show you something else. Hold on. Too many windows open here. Okay, so the interesting thing is as the heels uncurl, this white area gets more prominent because you can see that the heel buttresses are themselves white. So it only stands to reason that as they would uncurl, you would see more white in the back of the foot as well. See right there? There was just even the slightest sliver. So this is showing me right here that as the heels are uncurling, that more of that white is going to show up and as the foot gets longer. But looks pretty plump, doesn't it? Okay, so anyway, that's kind of where I finished right there. Just some interesting changes, I'll tell you. But that whole frog is moving back, and it's going to be interesting to see where it winds up. Okay, well, that's all I got for now. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to talk about, or a horse they'd like to look at, or anything like that?
Thank you very, 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 very much. And I'm
Oh,
glad.
you're welcome, dear.
Lots and lots of good information today.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah,
Thank
still
you,
coming.
everybody. It
Thank
was
you, Linda and everybody.
an interesting and happy return back for me.
Oh, hey, we are so glad to have you back. I'll tell you what.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Okay, well, hey, we will see you next week. And hopefully this week I'm going to have some more research put together. Hey, finding some pretty interesting things. You want to hear an interesting story
Sure.
before we go? Okay, for those of you that have been here and have heard the ongoing historical saga of the barefoot movement and the false doctrine of frog pressure, okay, that's been haunting and plaguing farriery for 250 years since Philip Lafosse. Well, I've really been getting this research together on it, and it really has boiled down to the false doctrine of frog pressure. And Henry Hamerling's article about it, how up until for 2,000 years it was known that the horse should have high heels and his frog should be up off the ground. And then Miss Abracadabra in 2000, in 1754, Philip Lafosse come up with the frog pressure doctrine: lower the heels and make the horse walk on his frog. Well, Philip Lafosse was a farrier. At that time, the farriers were the veterinarians. There were no veterinary schools. And so when you thought of farrier, you thought veterinarian. They were called both. And so, but his father's name was, I don't know if I can pronounce it. It was like Etienne Goulian Lafosse. He was the veterinary farrier to the King of France. So, of course, this is not a poor family. All right. I doubt if they even shod many horses themselves. By the time you are that prestigious, that means you're the head guy that oversees all the other farriers and everything like that. So you have a very high place of prestige. So just in that alone, we can see how the frog pressure doctrine took off. And we know that the farriers of France first wrote a big dissertation to refute it, but because this family had so much influence and everything like that, okay, it took root in the next 5 years to the very first vet school that opened up in France. And then the very first 30 some years later, the very first vet college that opened up in England, what had their first principal, his name was St. Bell. He was the head of the school in England, but only for 3 years. Then he died. Then they chose Charles Coleman, a man who knew nothing about horses, to be the head of that school. And he, because he is greedy, kept trying to make patents for shoes. He adopted the same frog pressure doctrine. You lower the heels till you have frog pressure. That was just it. He firmly established it there. Now, Bracy Clark, he went there the first 3 years to the school. The school opened in 1791 with Charles St. Bell, and then Bell died, and Bracy graduated. And he started his practice as a farrier and veterinarian. And then Edward Coleman was made head of that school. Well, when Bracy Clark first got out of vet school, he believed in the doctrine of frog pressure. And he practiced it for a good 6 or 7 years. And so what you find is that in his first book, he extols, which is what is it? It's something like something on the living experiment, the experiments on a living horse, foot of the horse. Okay, that was his first book that came out in 1809. And then he came out with a similar book in 1829 where he renounced frog pressure. And that I've read many excerpts from that before of the suffering he saw. And he, in the book in 1809, he thought it was because of the nails of the shoes that caused contraction. See, the biggest problem they had was heel contraction, contracted feet, because it ain't just the heels that contracts, the whole foot gets smaller, you know. And so in his first book, he said, it occurred to me, and that's 1809, it occurred to me that the reasons put forth for why horses' feet are contracted was not real. But in that book, he says, he thought that it was because the way the shoes were fixed to the foot. But in his second book, he comes to realize that that was not the reason, that it was frog pressure, lowering the heels to force frog pressure. So there's 20 some years between 20 years between those two books where he continually did experiments, continually looked for answers, and went from being a proponent of the frog pressure doctrine to an opponent of the frog pressure doctrine. So this goes on for till 1965. Okay, this is believed. 1965, hardly anyone challenges it. In 1965, men started thinking outside the box and growing heel and thinking that that probably wasn't the thing to do. And a few men were writing books on it and stuff like that. Well, 1977, I've told you about Leslie Emery, right? Writing the book, Horseshoeing Theory and Hoof Care. Well, okay, this is the part of the story that you need to know. This is the rest of the story. I couldn't understand how Jamie, see in that book, there's parts of that book I haven't read. I've just glanced through and I saw he was a proponent for heels, that he has a whole chapter in there on, a big section, 6 pages on frog pressure theory and how it's wrong, but I hadn't thoroughly read it or anything like that. And so I wound up getting more into it, thoroughly reading it and reading his section on frog pressure theory. And man, I mean, it was excellent. He really went into the history of it, and I learned some more things than I already knew. But there were some things he didn't know either. He didn't know where it originated. He didn't know about Bracy Clark. And so then I read the foreword and I came to realize something. Okay, see, I thought Leslie Emery, that he was one of the developers of this theory of growing heels, and I mean all this, and I couldn't understand how Jamie Jackson could have come in and just talked him out of that, stole his thunder, so to speak. And So I got to read in the foreword of the book, and here I'm going to tell you how Jamie Jackson was easily able to come in there and convince Emery that his theories weren't true. Because remember, the story is Jamie is supposed to call Emery as soon as he gets out of the corrals. And so he gets out of the corrals after he took a picture of one horse, and he goes either to Litchfield or Susanville and uses the payphone. Emery answers the phone. Well, what are their heels like? What do they have? They have no heels. Well, what do you mean they have no heels? Just that, flat as a pancake. They have no heels. Well, what about the dorsal wall? What about the angle of the wall? Oh, well, from what I can tell, it's steep. Well, how can I have a steep dorsal wall and no heels? Well, I don't know. I'm going to have to figure that out, but your theories in the book won't work. And that was it. Okay. How did because this is quite an excellent book. It's printed on very expensive paper. It's not just a cheap, handout. How did he convince him so easily? I'm going to read something that's going to explain why. It says here, it's in the preface. In the preface. Okay, just a minute here. I got to find it. Or was it in the foreword? Just a minute. Oh, it's in the acknowledgments. Okay. And it says this: the primary authors of this book are Jim Miller, a professional horseman, farrier, and member on withdrawal from the International Union of Journeyman Horseshoers, and Niels van Hoosen, a veterinarian. Jim Miller has been a jockey, licensed trainer on recognized racetracks, and rodeo contestant. He has had considerable experience with jumpers and polo ponies and has had preliminary training in veterinary medicine. Niels van Hoosen is a graduate and former assistant professor of Washington State University College of Veterinary Medicine. He is a long-standing member of the American Association of Equine Practitioners and has been in equine practice in the Pacific Northwest for 33 years. The basic concepts of this book originated with Jim Miller, who over years of using and shoeing all types of horses, his experience with, get this, his experience with wild horses and using horses in dry climates was crucial to his re-evaluation of traditional methods of shoeing. I want to read that again. Okay. Who? Leslie Emery? No. Hasn't even mentioned Leslie Emery yet. Okay. Jim Miller's experience with wild horses. This is important, people, because Mr. Smarty Pants over there says nobody else had any experience with wild horses but him. Okay, so Jim Miller, his experience with wild horses and using horses in dry climates was crucial to his re-evaluation of the traditional methods of shoeing. And what specific method is that? The doctrine of frog pressure. Okay? He says the two men who? Leslie Emery? No. Jim Miller and Dr. Niels van Hoosen. Okay. The two men shared the knowledge obtained from their profession for more than 12 years more than 12 years were they working on this theory they had, reevaluation they had. Okay, to gain the insights and information presented in this book. The free exchange between their professions. See, you got to understand how important it is to have free exchange to where people aren't getting offended, you know. The free exchange, you know why they say that? Because there is no free exchange, people. Okay? All them people are indoctrinated, and it is more like a cult and a religion than a science. We know that from talking to people, right? How they get all weird and stuff. Get the deer in the headlight look. Anytime you mention something different than what they believe. Says the free exchange between their professions is largely responsible for their success. They work together, get this. They work together on over 300 cases of hoof-seated lameness that were treated by shoeing, the majority being navicular lameness. You know, the navicular lameness showed up after Lafosse's doctrine became established. And I know why. Okay, from what it does to the hoof capsule, how it bends the bars right up into the navicular bone. Hey. However, get this, here we go. However, they were not prepared to produce a book on their own. No, thus they entered into an extended relationship with Leslie Emery, who arranged and expanded. All he did was arrange and expand on their material and ideas and wrote the book. Emery is a farrier. Yeah, and he is a 3-gold rated member of the United States Polo Association, a graduate. Just a minute. Anyway, a graduate. Well, I'll tell you what he is now. He's a wannabe Freud. All right. This man had no skin in the game. He had no commitment to these ideals. Just a minute. Need a drink of water. Hold on. He was easily persuaded because none of it was his what would you call it? He was not persuaded of these methods to begin with. He was easily talked out of them. You know, he wasn't the one that did the 300 whatever. He wasn't the one that had the experience with wild horses. Jim Miller saw wild horses. He saw they had heels. That is why these men, okay, like he has pictures in here of horses where they have heels. They have ample heel, you know? And so Leslie Emery is not really the one behind these ideas. It was Jim Miller and Van Hoosen. That's why it was so easy for Jamie Jackson to just say, oh, your theories in the book won't work because guess what? They weren't his theories. Well, they were older. They probably died. I think they're dead now. I'm going to try and find out. He was younger. He was carrying on the torch for the book. Okay, if Jamie Jackson had not come along and sideswiped him, you and I would not be here today. This book was making headway. Ever since 1965, men had been working in this direction. That's what Henry Hamerling says in his research paper, the proper hoof angle that is really about heel height. He talks about how the doctrine of Lafosse was just destroying horse's feet. And then he said, and this was written in 1990, he said, but the pendulum seems to be swinging back the other way in the last 25 years, which takes us to 1965. And then in 1977 was when Emery wrote his book. Well, it wasn't Emery. Okay, he wrote the book, but it was Miller and Van Heusen's research and ideas. Really uh, very solid. Okay. And so what's interesting is how Jackson just managed to fly in there and just curtail the whole darn thing. You know, once you read about his story, and I'll tell you what, you got to read his new autobiography that's out. Okay, about how he says he got a vision. Okay, that he never been on a horse in his life, and in 19, I think it was 73, gets a vision after sweating it out in a teepee for 4 days. Up in South Dakota. See, Jackson, his father introduced him to Native American religion. And so he goes up and sweats it out in a teepee. He wanted to be an Indian. And so he goes out and sweats it out in a teepee for 4 days and gets a vision. Okay. And he believes that this vision is what led him to do this whole hoof care thing. And that is no kidding. And so this religion is based solely on nature worship and worship of different deities. Okay, so that's why you hear them say constantly nature this and nature that and nature, nature, nature. I'm telling you, my friend that heard Jackson speak, only he heard him at a convention in 1993. I asked him, I said, well, what did he say? He said, I don't know, but it sounded religious. You see, these ideals and these people that keep spouting this nature, nature, nature crap, okay, that is from nature worship. That is not scientific at all. What Jim Miller and Niles Van Heusen did in 300 cases, that was science. What Jamie Jackson did in going and finding one dead wild horse foot and then making his whole anatomical understanding off that one dead foot. And if you get his book, The Natural Horse, Lessons from the Wild, see, for the domestic horse care, the natural horse, okay, all based on one foot. And so he was able to come in with his whatever and talk Leslie Emery into the things in this book don't work. So the book fell by the wayside because he was the last spokesman, because these two men were older and probably died. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. Go to Jackson's site and read his extended biography. All right, where he talks to you about what a spiritual mission he's on. That's not science, people. And this whole thing, the natural trim and all that, okay, none of it is based on real science. None of it. It's all based on that one dead wild horse foot that promoted and pushed into everybody's head. So anyway, that's the rest of the story. Now, here's the interesting part, though. I called and talked to Leslie Emery twice, while I still thought he was the main guy, you know. And I told him in the first car, man, you were right in your book. Your theories are right in your book. And he just wasn't really interested. I couldn't understand it. And he would tell me things like, well, whatever you got, it's got to be really simple. And then at one point, I was talking to him about the true foot of the horse, which I'm meaning real anatomy. And he says to me, oh, what do you mean true? That's dangerous. You're dangerous. Can you believe that? Yeah, you bet I'm dangerous, buddy. Okay, so let me tell you what's dangerous. Thinking that you're hearing voices out in the wilderness telling you your work here is done. Having visions. When you've never even had a horse, you got something to do, and you got some spirit guiding you and stuff. That's not science. That's religion. See, and you're going to find that nature religion sneaks its way in to what should be scientific only. Like, okay, me, I believe in God. I believe there are spirits, I believe there are this, that, but guess what? Has nothing to do with what we are looking at here on this screen. This is what you can see. This is what you can feel. You don't want to taste it. Okay. Here's touch, see, feel, taste. 5 senses. See, this is a physical material object that you can know and understand by your 5 senses. You do not need a spirit guiding you. See, because if those spirits knew so darn much, why didn't they tell us before, right? See, y'all know that I don't believe in this junk of distance reading on these horses and stuff like that. Because if that was real, why didn't the horses tell these people what was exactly going on with their feet all this time? See, that's how I know it's bull. Because the horses never told them the truth about the most important thing that's going on with them. Now, you can believe what you want and you can worship what you want. Okay. But when you start manipulating the truth to try and make it look like a science, then that affects me. You are in effect shoving your religion down my throat and getting me to practice something on my horse, thinking it's a science when it's just your convoluted personal ideas and theories. See? So anytime you hear them talking about, oh, sacred geometry or something like that, people, that is religion. That is not science. Everything that we talk about here is based on physical laws, on uh what was it? On the laws of physics, on laws of not the laws of nature, because any real laws in what you might call nature are tangible, measurable, uh visible, physical objects. See, and there is physical laws behind them. So anyway, that's what I found out this week. And so now I'm a little bit disappointed in Mr. Emery. So, okay, well, that's it. That's all I wanted to share with you.
Thank you much.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, everybody have a great week.
Thanks,
Thank you,
I love
Linda.
you.
Have a good
I
rest.
really,
Thank you,
really love
everybody.
you very much.
Love
Thank
you.
you,
Bye.
Linda.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, love. Bye.